It is notable that 0 of us actually follow football, though.
Yeah.
0. Not even our special guest, Chris Grant.
Nice.
Yeah, I live in Philadelphia. It's a World Cup city this year, so there's football people all over town. The people in the jerseys, and I don't have any idea what they're doing.
Aren't they just looking for another excuse to riot about something though? Are they actually? They're not football fans, right? They just
the jerseys are sick though. The jerseys are so cool.
Everyone's it's cool to see. Everyone's here. They're all excited, happy. No, because they're not violent, right? Their teams win or lose, and like nobody's flipping cop cars, and so that's how you know they're not from here.
Oh, I didn't tell you guys when I was in LA a couple weeks ago to play Blood of Dawnwalker, which we will talk about, and I was sat in my hotel lobby, and I was enjoying a nice breakfast, and the people next to me, like I speak, the level of German that a 2-year-old can speak. But even I understood that they had flown all the way to America and had only bought 1 ticket, and they thought they had 2.
Oh man,
that's rough.
That's brutal.
And they were figuring this out in real time during breakfast, and they weren't leaving. Like there was at one point they got on the phone with someone. They were on speakerphone trying to get through to someone at MasterCard. And I was just like,
they looked at the price and they're like, surely this must be for 2 people,
this
right?
Must be.
This can't possibly be for 1 person, surely.
This is a family of 5. Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm sorry that this is leaving the story on a cliffhanger, because even I don't know how it ended. They got up and left to try and deal with it. But if you know those people, I hope you figured it out.
I actually checked in with them earlier. They did get the second ticket. MasterCard came through. Everything was great.
Yeah.
That's MasterCard though, man. They come through, right? You can always count on the credit card companies. They'll help you out for sure.
Brought to you by MasterCard.
You heard it here first. The credit card companies are your friends.
Are your friend. That's
Use
right.
code
This
friends
episode
at
brought to you by MasterCard. But no, it's definitely not, believe me. But no, I actually have not watched a single World Cup match, but I've just been on Twitter looking at the memes and like just the general coverage of it. And I've been loving it. Like this has been a fantastic, I've actually never had any interest in the World Cup whatsoever, ever. Right. But this is the first year where I've actually actively tracked it purely through social media. And I would just go look at the scores and I would look what's happened. And then I would go on Twitter to look and like just type in like Messi. And then I would just see all the Messi memes and all this sort of shit. Someone did this incredible edit where it was like an AI thing. And they basically converted the Matrix, like that scene where they're walking through the town and he's like, oh, the woman in the red dress. You know what I mean? They basically converted that, but they'd put all these like footballers in there. Like Haaland was in the red dress, of course. And he was like, look again, turn around and it's Messi with a gun pointed to his face. Like it was such a good edit, man. And I was like, I love football now. I've still never watched a single match, by the way.
Oh my God.
So, it's been great. I love it.
I wasted all my energy on the Knicks. Like that was my sports quota for the year was the New York Knicks, baby.
No, I was walking around. I went to a goth fair at the weekend.
Cool.
Oakland. We have so much going on. There was like a goth street fair, and I was first of all, everyone was like,
"The fuck is this?" Okay, hang on, pause. Goth street fair. Is this a thing that happens in your country? Is that a thing? Like,
is it in the California sun too?
Yeah, well, that's the really horrible thing about it. It was like the hottest day of the year so far, and you had all these goths,
white makeup running down their face and shit.
But I was I was watching the score come through. I was like refreshing the Google landing page on it. And I was like, yes, because I don't know. I wanted Haaland to do. I just want them all to have a nice time. Yeah. Haaland has charmed me. I was not rooting for Norway, but I didn't want them to lose.
Sure.
And yeah, it just wasn't the mood at the goth fair.
Well, hang on. What do you buy at a goth fair? What do you do? What do you snack on at a goth fair? What did you wear? Did you dress the part?
Okay. Everyone dressed the part. All of us dressed up a little gothy. Had to wear shorts because it was so hot. So I had to, work with that as the base piece in the wardrobe. People were getting tattoos. People were getting pierced and jewelry done. There was a lot of vintage clothing you could buy. There were cool pieces of artwork, and like one boba stall. But other than that, the food truck, the one food truck had a back in an hour sign at midday. And
Was it like goth boba? Was it like white liquid and like little black things? And like that was the only flavor they sold? Because
I'm adding this to the list when I write up my complaint.
Yeah. I'm hoping a lot of candles in like different like skull shapes or
yeah. Want some of that?
I think there was candles. It It was actually quite small. I think it was put on by a local art college, but it was a fun, nice time, and I would recommend. And then we went to a different street fair, which was enormous and had like DJs and loads of food stalls, and there was a guy with a snake. He was supposed to be the goth fair, but yeah. No,
I have a question.
Oakland.
Is Brendan Lee is the Crow? Is he considered goth?
Yeah.
I think he's patron
cool.
saint. He's patron
I like
saint.
him. He's cool as hell. Okay.
Yeah, I would say he's certainly a goth aesthetic to the Crow.
All right, cool. All right, I'm in.
All right.
I think
It took this long.
Him dying too was very goth, and so I think the whole thing.
Yeah. Very, very sad though. Very sad.
Very sad. That's goth.
But
Very
goth.
important
That's
addendum.
it.
Very sad, but very goth. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are here for episode 99 of the Friends Per Second podcast, where we talk about video games.
Wow,
I'm
we'll
Jake.
get a
That's
telegram
Ralph.
from
That's
the
Lucy.
Queen. Well, not the Queen. She's dead.
You're here with two Americans. You need to explain.
I know.
Lucy.
So when you're in the UK and you reach the age of 100, you get a telegram from the monarch, your sovereign, to say you made it.
Wow,
Congrats.
that's
Good
great.
job.
I feel like in America you get a smellogram or something. Sorry.
You would just
In America,
get
they
a
cut your
doctor's
healthcare.
bill for like $800,000, and then you would get into medical debt, and you would be like, "Well, may as well die. I can't pay it now." That's America.
I'll
man.
die.
That's what you get.
So we are joined by Chris Grant, former VP at GameSpot. What's up, man?
Hi, folks. I am
Hi.
excited to be here.
Yeah.
Hang out. Lucy hasn't been at GameSpot for a couple weeks, and I said I can't. I'm out. I just gotta come. We gotta
You were my
hang
boss for like
a week.
3 weeks. And then I left. No, I'm kidding. I did not. It was sadly in the works before Chris became my boss. You were a great boss.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to.
She says that now. She bitched about you so much before.
Yeah, she's
though.
like, this guy
Yeah.
Chris came in. He
So-
sucked.
I keep calling him Chris Plant.
It's confusing.
Confusing.
I gotta do these TPO reports. I don't know what that is. It's stupid. No, it's exciting. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to podcast with the youths. You guys youth?
You're on the wrong fucking show, my friend.
Yes.
You must be confused. How hot is it where you are? How hot is it in Philly right now? You're gonna call a doctor.
This is a Roblox podcast, right? I'm here to talk about.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not yet.
exactly.
Soon.
We give out V-Bucks in our ad breaks.
Right. No, but Chris is someone we actually just hang out because obviously Lucy worked with Chris, but we met Chris a little while ago, like Jake and I at like events or whatever. We've just been hanging out and having a great
GDC.
time. GDC, that's right. That's the first time we met. Yeah, had a really good time and met up again at Summer Games this year. But yeah, Chris just has a really fascinating perspective on video games. I mean, obviously, you have worked in this industry for a long time, have you not, Chris? Tell us about some of your early adventures in this space.
For just to start, for the folks that are not on cam, listen to this in your ear holes. I'm ancient. I'm an old boy. I've been doing this for a little over 20 years now. Back in the mid-aughts, early aughts, I was freelancing, doing game reviews and stuff while working as a carpenter. And
Just like Jesus.
I mean, I was getting there.
Christ-like.
You're jumping ahead in the story. Jesus Christ. So anyway, then I did the whole wine thing. And, people are gonna be offended by that. Sorry. I ended up working at a blog called Joystick, which ended up being bought by AOL. And the sort of early days of the blogs, Joystick became quite big and influential. I was there as editor-in-chief for about 5 or 6 years, and realized AOL was falling apart and it was a mess. At some point, I got an offer to go to GameSpot and run GameSpot.
What? I
Did I
didn't know
even tell you
that.
the story?
No, wait, hang on. So which era? Who is this?
This was in 2011, maybe 2010, 2011.
Oh my god! Wait, so that John Davison years?
Yep. So I got
Because
offered.
I joined 2014, but I was an intern in 2012. So I was there in the meeting when they announced they bought Giant Bomb.
That was after this.
Yeah.
So they made me an offer. I didn't want to move. I just moved my dad to Philly and I was taking care of him. So I gave them a number that was like a big number that I thought they would say no to. And they said, okay, like we can work with that. And I was like, fuck, now I need to like do something. I can't stay at AOL. So in a large part, Polygon, I went on to found Polygon. Polygon was founded because I wanted to stay in Philly. I wanted to stay in my home with my family and friends. And I couldn't do that in at AOL. I didn't want to move to New York. I didn't want to move to LA or San Francisco. And I found a dearth of publishers that were excited about the gaming space. I met with a bunch of folks, and not a lot of people were into it. And I ended up meeting with a company called Sports Blogs Incorporated. I had known them through some other connections, and ended up pitching Polygon to them. There was a big connection to SB Nation, which was their main publication at the time. The founder of SB Nation was a guy named Tyler Blazinski, brother to Cliff Blazinski. And we had a bunch of long conversations about how gaming and sports were really closely knit, right? The way the communities work and the fact that you care about your region, you care about your sport, not about all sports. And the same is true of gaming. It was true then. It is 1,000 times more true now. So that original thesis was to move to Vox, or what ended up becoming Vox, and make SB Nation for games. We never quite got there for a bunch of reasons, which is a different podcast. But we did do Polygon, which we called the magazine brand. We wanted this sort of umbrella brand to exist above. And I was there for almost 14 years until they sold it unceremoniously to a clickbait factory run out of Montreal. So,
dude, have you seen Polygon's latest run?
Oh,
their
yeah.
rage bait run that they've been on? Crazy, insane.
Oh, what was
Just
one the day? What was it the day about?
Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is bad.
Yes.
Red Dead, can we all agree now that Red Dead is shit? No, actually, we can't all agree that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Oh,
Okay, all right. Just
Here we go,
calm
John
down, okay?
Polygon over here.
But I mean, I know a lot of folks that still work there. There's still a ton of talent there, but there's a playbook that publisher wants them to follow, and it's pretty explicit. You can see it. You can see it across all their publications. Either way, I stayed at Vox for a little while after that on sabbatical, and ended up taking the job at Fandom to work with the GameSpot team, which was exciting until now. So that's my trajectory in the industry. Sort of been in leadership roles across newsrooms for a long time. Yeah, and excited to think about games, talk about audience, talk about where it all goes from here, and
Interested to hear your perspective on, as someone who's been sort of inside the machine, like building outlets and leading outlets and whatever else. What's your view of the current trajectory of that space, and also your view of the new sort of, the independent outlets and sort of like creator-led outlets that are springing up right now? How are you seeing that landscape evolving?
I think all media, not just games media and not just online or digital media, but all media is pressured, period. End of story. That includes the big outlets, right? CBS. That includes certainly digital media, Vox, Vice, BuzzFeed. That includes social media, right? You look at YouTube, every week there's another YouTuber quitting the platform because the economics have changed or the algorithm has shifted away from them. It's all shifted to YouTube Shorts, which don't pay out anything, right? Like all of this is pressured, and it's pressured because of how audience shifts and moves. It's pressured because of the consolidation of control into just a few companies and the lack of oversight and how those companies distribute audience or attention. It's pressured because of the audience has shifted. Their expectation of what they consume has changed fundamentally. Again, this is culture. And I think that it is really hard to adapt to those shifts. And what we end up having now, similar to other media markets in the past, are micro markets, smaller markets. This is certainly true on social media. Mm-hmm. And when there's no intermediaries, it can still be quite lucrative or successful. But certainly when you get to larger publications where there's cost basis to run, right? There's distribution costs, there's revenue and sales costs, there's ways that you have to produce the work, right? It's expensive. If you publish anything in print, you've got fact checkers, right? It's expensive to make this stuff work. And you need to have disproportionate revenue to offset it. And if people care about things being true or high quality or good, they'll pay for it. And so I think that the real challenge is that we've convinced a generation of people, maybe a couple generations of people, to not pay for this stuff. Yeah. So this stuff is in fact expensive to make, period. Yeah. It costs money, and journalists and people who can do that job have a skill set, and it's not the same. And I don't mean to disparage content creators at all. I think most of them, given a slightly different spin to the work that they put out and slightly different counsel or tutelage, are journalists. They're doing a journalism and might not even realize it. And but they're doing it without the sort of safety net of a publication. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of change and chaos all happening at the same time that people are consuming more than they've ever consumed in their fucking lives. The amount of consumption is actually maybe part of the problem. Too much, too indiscriminate, too misaligned with what you actually care about, too exploitative. You're just being funneled into an algorithm, programmed by AI PhDs to circumvent your nervous system and take control of your brain. It's brutal. And I think that is all resulting in a sort of race to the bottom across lots of different mediums. So I say all of that, which is a segue quickly to individual content creators, where you can opt in and say, I like this person, I like the content they produce, I like to pay them money, I'm going to subscribe or pay for This Week in Video Games or Post Games or Besties or Friends Per Second or you name it, GameFile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or Bloomberg, which, let's be honest, none of us are subscribing to Bloomberg. It's too expensive.
Dude, I would hands up, I would 100% pay Jason Schreier some money. 100%, but I'm not paying Bloomberg $170 a year or some shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
It's cheap. It's more than that.
It's more than that, whatever else, right? If Schreier struck out on his own, I'd 100% be his first subscriber, man. I would happily pay that man money for the work.
The YouTuber, Jason Schreier?
Famous
one. The YouTuber, Jason Schreier, that's right.
So I think that trajectory of people going out and selecting the things that they want and selecting content categories that they care about. Again, back to that Polygon thesis that the audience, like sports teams, they care about their team or maybe one step up their region. They don't care about all teams and all regions. And so if you can go subscribe to Patrick Klepek covering gaming for parents, and that's what you care about, just get in there. Just narrow it right there, right into what you want, and don't worry too much about reading everything. And so I think the publications that cover everything, which is GameSpot and Polygon and Kotaku and IGN and Games Radar and to some degree PC Gamer, although they're narrowed on PC, there's a much different challenge there to meet a large mainstream scaled audience and deliver value to them, which is a fun, hard job that I used to do and no longer do.
Now you're free of it. Yeah. You
should make YouTube shorts.
YouTube shorts.
Yeah, can we have that bit in like a 30-second chunk that we can put Subway Surfers underneath?
Game journalism bad.
That's right. Boom. Now we're cooking.
Pay us more money. Right. Gotta get Jason Schreier to go to YouTube. Got
it.
Done. Crushed it, man. Crushed it. Speaking of other things that are decaying.
Keep it light, guys. Keep it light.
Yeah. So last time we were, last
Democracy.
podcast, Ralph, you weren't here.
No, we had the wonderful Kyle Bosman.
Yes,
who did send me the link to the puzzle. People have been asking about it. I will ask Stu.
Nice.
I think because Austin, edited the last episode, so I sent the link to Stu and not Austin. But we can get the link. People have been asking about this puzzle. I'm gonna buy this puzzle.
Yeah,
it's a really cool puzzle.
So when we met with Kyle, we talked about the Xbox stuff. Xbox doing massive layoffs. Microsoft as a whole doing massive layoffs. Not just now, but for the rest of the year as well. Also, studios being spun out, some going independent, some looking for a buyer. So, Ralph, I'd love to know just your top level reaction because we didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's incredibly disappointing and sad. I'm not at all on, because I've heard so many people being like, well, you can kind of understand it and yada, yada, yada. And actually they did the best they could with it and whatever else. I'm just totally nowhere near that position at all. Like the minute this was announced, I was like, wow, this is actually way worse than I was expecting. Spinning out those 4 studios, it's particularly Double Fine and Compulsion. They're going to go independent, and who's going to fund them? And again, I don't necessarily think it's complicated because, it's like, well, every studio has to survive on its own in its own context, right? And that includes within a publisher as well. They need to make games that are successful and that, return revenue and whatever else. But at the same time, like Microsoft managed those studios towards those outcomes. Like they're the ones that set those guidelines down. They acquired them on a certain basis and managed them on a certain basis. And now when the strategy has changed, they just turf them out immediately. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I think they're incredibly talented people and their effort could have been redirected towards other objectives. And I'm not saying you should be getting them to make fucking, Call of Duty DLC add-on packs or whatever, but surely there's talent there that's worth Xbox sticking with. And I think it's it would have been a testament to their business and to their ethic had they chosen to do that. And instead they just said, fuck it, we're not going to bother with this. They're out, you know? I think Ninja Theory and Undead Labs getting other buyers is good news, but we don't know who those buyers are and what their plans are for those studios. So we can't really speculate at this point whether that's good. I think Arcane being spun out is just a straight up tragedy. That's an incredibly talented studio, just like stone cold talent. You know what I mean? And I personally didn't like Deathloop, okay? But it's an extremely well-made game in its own way. That you can't argue that. And the pedigree of that studio running back years is extremely strong. They're working on a Marvel IP right now, which obviously has a tremendous amount of brand cash and cut through and whatever else, however you want to put it. There's something there worth protecting and salvaging. And again, you could do different things with it. Maybe after they finish Blade, they work on something else. I don't know. But to just spin them out right now, like, I just think that's disgraceful. I really do. I think it's disgusting. So I think all that sucks. We haven't even, and then obviously we start talking about cuts to their like core business. Look, I don't really have thoughts on whether or not you should cut the number of people who work on xCloud or whatever else. Like, obviously we don't know, whatever. Okay, sure, whatever. But what we do know is that like 200 people from ZeniMax Online are being cut. And, you know, the developers themselves have said that is going to significantly hamper their ability to deliver Elder Scrolls Online. That is a successful game in its own context. It's not massive, but it's successful, you know. The real tragedy, obviously, being id Software. And I think the cuts at id, I think, will stick with Xbox forever, the same way that Tango Gameworks sticks forever. And I think that's the true colors of that organization, right? Like when you cut Tango after that success, after making a game that good, and you say there's nothing here to salvage, we're just going to shut you down, like that shows who you are and what you're about. And simultaneously with id Software, you can make 3 generational shooters, market leading in terms of like gameplay, in terms of visual design, in terms of technical performance with id Tech, you know, commercially successful games. You can do that and then still lose half your studio. But also id, like id's a fucking institution. You know what I mean? Like id's id. And if you don't respect what that is, I think it just shows you don't respect what this thing is. Do you know? And fundamentally, like I think you have to look at that and think, well, what does it say that we decided to cut half of this studio? What does it say about our perspective on video games and their importance and the people who make them and whatever else? And, you know, no one layoff is more or less important than another, but I do think that id carries with it its own legacy and context, and the decision to sort of like cut it in the way that they did after the success that they've had, both near term and long term, I think just says a lot about where Xbox is headed right now and where they've come from, I suppose. And I think it's, again, just incredibly sad. So
one quick thought too is the id layoffs happened the day
unbelievable.
That they released
the launch
the
party.
DLC. Right, like the idea that the culmination of, you know, what was it? It was 10, 11, 12 years of development on Doom, Doom Eternal, Doom Dark Ages, and then the DLC. And they said that was the end of that run. And they launch it, and then they lose half the team and they get their technology decimated. And I think that there's something there, not just about the reference to, I apologize for my voice to all the listeners, by the way, I'm very husky.
Oh yeah, we
today.
should say Ralph and Chris both have sore throats.
Yeah.
And so...
But you sound way better than I do, man. I'm jealous.
That's
this husky kind of thing going on.
I know, it's kind of cool. Keep your heart out, Kathleen Turner. I got it. I think that I think doing it on that day, and understand that these things are large corporate initiatives that are happening across many divisions, but still pick a different day. You gremlins, like, what are you doing?
Well, that's the thing. They are going to pick a different day because
there's
got over 1,000 more of these, which I think is just absolutely. As someone, hang on, I can say it because
Here we go.
Specifically being a person on a work visa who has to deal with rolling layoffs is
sound off.
One of the most crushing experiences I've ever had to go through. And I had to live it for my entire time while I was in America because of various reasons why I was not provided with a green card. And so I spoke about this on Kind of Funny last week when we were talking about it, but the mental and the psychological impact of having to continue working at a place that has indiscriminately cut over 1,000 people and has said that they are going to be cutting over 1,000 more. You just have to continue with your day and pretend like everything's going to be fine. Like, what is the impetus for you to keep working? Why should you even bother? This company doesn't care about you. And for anyone who is on a work visa, it is awful having to live with that, because your entire life, not only are you going to lose your job and your healthcare, but you could have the right to live in this country gone if you don't find a new job in this economy in 60 days. Which I think is absolutely disgraceful.
No, it's cruel. It's cruel.
Yeah.
I think the when you look at Microsoft and what it means for the culture of that company, right? People went to Microsoft to retire. That's not how they're feeling now, right? Like, that's not a place you feel safe in. And they're chasing the sort of high margin business of AI across their entire portfolio. And Microsoft, they talk a lot about Xbox's margins. They're not as good. They'll never be as good is the answer, right? Like, this 100%. Is never going to be your Azure or your AI business. And how they exist inside of a company like Microsoft, a public traded company that's chasing infinite growth, is what they want. That's what the market wants. They want infinite growth. And you start to wonder, and this is true of journalism and media as well, why is it better for individual content creators like a Lucy to go out on their own and make their own products, because they can create a sustainable business, right? A business that they need to hit their own margins. You know what your rent is. You know what your mortgage is. You know what your groceries are.
I'm now very acutely aware of how much my healthcare is.
You know, yes, right? The good news is it'll go up more next year. So that's, you can
great
towards that.
I will say I don't recommend trying to get healthcare when you have the cholesterol levels that I do. Genetic.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, bad.
So I think that the idea of, like, we need solutions that are built to be sustainable, not for infinite growth. A lot of the people who care about these studios, right? Like, do you want id to infinitely get bigger for all time, or do you want id to have some amount of agency over its games, its creations, its audience, what it delivers, the value it can sort of create for itself and for its audience? Like, I think there's misaligned goals here from these corporations and what they want out of these assets.
Yeah. I also, coming back to that point about 1,600 roles outstanding, like, I really think that's quite an anomaly within this space. Like, it's very common for companies to list restructure programs and be like, well, we're going to make rolling cuts, and, you know, it's going to be an uncertain time, yada yada. But to put a number on
look at Ubisoft. They've been doing those rolling cuts
correct,
for a long time.
Exactly. But to put a number on it tells me that, like, they know what's going to happen, right? They know the people, and that really makes me think about Xbox as kind of like near-term releases, because my view is that they're kind of keeping 1,600 people around because they need them to do a job. And then when that job is done, then they can go, okay, thank you very much for your time, right? And then you think
Fable's
Halo, Fable,
Fable. Exactly. And then Sledgehammer with COD, but I don't think they're going to make cuts at COD stuff. I think the opposite will happen. They'll probably just pile more into COD and whatever. But I definitely think about those three studios in particular and think it seems like they must be vulnerable, right, on the basis of this. And imagine being a person who works at those studios and just thinking about, like, well, and then someone comes to you and says, oh, let's do a little bit of overtime tonight, push a little harder, you know, like we gotta get this done, you know, like we really want to deliver the best game we can for the players and for the team, right? And you're just thinking to yourself, bro, when I ship this, maybe I'm getting fired, you know what I mean? And you just, that's in the back of your head, and, you know, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm just going to look for the exit now, or I don't know, like I just think it's so cruel.
And that's the thing. It's like, even if you are fortunate enough to be at a studio that has royalties, which is not the case kind of everywhere, well, what even happens if you get laid off?
The day before or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you go gold and then, like, you get let. Who knows? But obviously we can't speculate on that stuff. But yeah, I think as well, and I think it's also a point touched on by Digital Foundry in their commentary on it. But in the statement that was issued by Ashama, there was no vision for the future of Xbox here.
There was a number.
There was a stupid number, a really dumb, stupid number.
Billion.
Which I wanted to bring up. They want 1 billion, what is it, daily active players or whatever.
DAUs, baby.
They want, go on.
So, like, I look at that like, good luck. What are you making? Like, what are you making now? How are you getting those people? That's where I don't see the plan or the vision. I see a running away. I see a divestment, a reckless divestment from making things. So I don't know.
They said they wanted 1 billion people. And I think the fact that she didn't say players, like, that choice is very specific, I think.
Skype. They're going to do Skype on Xbox. That's going to count as part of those numbers.
Right, whatever.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean,
whatever it takes.
You have to log into Microsoft Teams to get some achievement points.
Just want to say for the eagle-eared listeners here, you got a early access scoop, a world exclusive from FPS here. Skype's coming back, baby.
That's right.
Microsoft's bringing it back. We just broke embargo on that.
We need that ringtone, that ringing sound. I miss that sound, man. That was a good ring.
Oh God, I hated that. Ugh.
I love that ring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that how they define what that means by people, right? What does it mean? And I think when you look at the stuff that Matthew Ball, the current chief strategy officer, has written about the industry and the market, where he thinks it's heading to, and where they sort of suggested they're going to head to, right? Like the idea that Minecraft is going to compete with Roblox as a platform seems all but inevitable at this point, is maybe perhaps overdue. But reallocating resources into your CODs, your WoWs, your Minecrafts, right? These sort of evergreen, always on games as service or platform games seems inevitable. And I think that seems like where they have to go, and puts us into this sort of before and after moment where I've been for the last couple months really insistent on gaming being fully cooked. And I think that there's going to be some percent of the audience that goes forward. And I think that's defined culturally by who plays games, who buys games, who talks about games, who spends time on them.
Yeah.
And then some percent of the audience that wants what they used to like. And that audience, by definition, will always get older because time, and they will age out. And so,
like Elvis fans,
it's going to be a thing. And so I think that there's a world in which Microsoft is very clearly and sharply snapping its neck to the left to watch the demographic coming into their opening window and to see who they can reach there. Well, very sort of consciously ignoring the audience that's passing out of the window on the right and watching them age out, or sort of allowing it to happen. Mm-hmm. The hardware cost, right? What is Helix going to be if that audience, which is me or you or whoever, who might entertain spending some stupid amount of money on a dumb console, when there's no games on it that you want to play, what are you going to do? And so the hardware's cooked, the software and the software development costs are cooked. Indie games are obliterating expensive AAA productions and sales numbers, and certainly in margin over and over again. You have an entire new class of games funding, which is just coming from indie whales who are reinvesting their earnings back into other developers, right? Like everything is cooked. And I think it's an exciting moment because it's going to get reinvented. But I think for the people who are comfortable with what's been here, and you're comfortable with a hobby or a pastime, or you're passionate about the art form or the industry, it's cooked.
All right, we're going to keep yapping. There's a lot more, but just briefly, a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah?
You know, like your phone number, address, and other personally identifiable information? You know that stuff?
Yeah, I have a lot of that.
Yeah, well, data brokers can like legally collect it and then sell it. All that information about you. Isn't that messed up?
Yeah, that's not good. I don't want that personally identifiable information out there. That's not good. It can expose you to serious risks, identity theft, scams, harassment, doxing, phishing attempts, all the stuff you hear about online and in the news. But thankfully, the sponsor of this podcast, DeleteMe, can help out with that.
Yeah, I've been trusting DeleteMe to help me with my privacy online because it's something I care about a lot. It is a hands-free subscription service, removes all your personal information from hundreds of data brokers and people search websites, which reduces my risk and your risk of your valuable data getting into the wrong hands. It has been the leading personally identifiable information removal tool for over 15 years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts. It's actually named by Wirecutter as the #1 data remover service. I trust Wirecutter a lot. Now, Lucy, you have signed up with this. You got it going. How was the process? Is it easy?
It was so easy. Like, part of the reason that I loved it is that data removal sounds like something that's going to take so much of my time, and I value my time. Getting set up with DeleteMe was so quick, so easy. Just put in a few details about myself, like my name, old addresses, old phone numbers, anything that people might want, any information that people might want to have about me. And it just started going. And now it is like going out to all of these data broker servers and asking them, hey, no, give me that back.
I like that. I like the sitting back and letting it do it. But specifically with DeleteMe, what I like about them is that they verify that your data is on a data broker site before submitting removal requests. Like, some sites will just bulk do it. Like some of these services will just bulk do it and throw them out there everywhere. But here they specifically target, so it reduces the risk of unnecessary data exposure. And I just think that's really smart on their part.
Yeah, and I think as well, the fact that they have actual real people who are available to help with custom removals, that is peak. I love that.
Huge. So if you want to check it out, you can get 20% off DeleteMe consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/friends and use code FRIENDS at checkout, or use the QR code on screen here. That's joindeleteme.com/friends and use code FRIENDS. Check it out, and big thanks to DeleteMe for sponsoring this podcast. Lucy, picture this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Busy day.
Paint me a
of
picture.
Doing whatever you do for your job, right? You're exhausted.
whatever this is.
What exactly do you do? So, long day at work. Long day of do podcasts, all this stuff, all the writing you do.
Curation, talking to developers.
Then you're finally done. You shut the laptop and you go to the fridge. What are you gonna make? What the hell do you even have? God. Right?
There's nothing in there because I haven't had time to go to the shop.
Yeah, it's really like you want to eat right, you want to do right, but that is not really a willpower problem. It's a setup problem. And that's where the sponsor of this podcast, Factor, comes in handy. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep. They heat up in the microwave in like 2 minutes and they taste great. Tons of different options for any type of diet, any type of preference, fun add-ons. And you're not worried about meal prep, grocery store runs, buying ingredients, and then they go bad because you don't get around to them, right? Like it's good.
Yeah. Lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, healthy fats. Factor, I didn't even realize had banned over 175 ingredients. So there's no artificial colors or sweeteners. None of that bad stuff. Just the nutrient-dense food. And there is so much to choose from. And it's all delicious, and it's so quick. I can't even overstate how beneficial it is to get all of that time back in the evening. The meal is there, it's tasty, it's good for me. And then I've got the rest of the time, do with as I please.
Yeah, get back to gaming. I've had a lot of them have vegetables, sometimes have 2 whole vegetables with them. Also, recently they have a margarita flatbread, which is also very delicious. So here's the deal. If you want to get eaten, head to factormeals.com/FPS50off and use code FPS50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for details. Again, that is factormeals.com/FPS50off. And when you're there, use code FPS50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box. Check it out. And big thanks to Factor for sponsoring this podcast.
When you say cook, by the way, let's drill it. What do you mean by that? Because cooked in Australia means it's fucked. It's over. It's dead.
It's fucked.
That's
what I mean. I mean, I think what I mean by that is hardware's dead. Nobody's buying $1,000 Xbox. Why would you buy $1,000 Xbox or $1,000 PS6 when you haven't played your PS4 games? Like, what's the point? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The PS5 was already not enough of a generational leap to really wow people. And I think a PS6, I cannot imagine what they do or what they produce that will be innovative enough to be enough of a delta to convince somebody to upgrade at that cost for games they also can't afford.
Yeah.
And they also might not want. And like, I don't understand. It used to be when you got a Nintendo 64 and it was really expensive and you asked your parents and you worked some extra hours at the video store over the summer. It was exciting because you got 3D Mario, right? Like there was innovation, right? When the Xbox 360 came out and it had Xbox Live built in and it had an HD DVD, which we were all excited about. Just kidding. We could get excited about this stuff, but at some point, for me, it was even the PS4, Xbox One era was not enough of a leap. And then certainly the Series X and PS5 era was not enough of a leap. And the absence of innovation now coupled with extreme hardware costs has resulted in an ecosystem of like, who gives a shit? Why? What does it bring you that you aren't getting somewhere else? And I think the exciting part about PC gaming is that, well, albeit current PC hardware is also cooked, see aforementioned Steam machines, etc.
Mhm.
But you can go, I'm working on a project where I'm building a bunch of UFO 50 consoles, which is a fun project we can talk about later. But
Okay.
I have a bunch of these. I've got a whole giant stack of these machines here.
Okay.
I'm holding up an HP Elite Slice G2. It's like a 9-year-old machine that was built for Microsoft Teams. This was like you put in a conference room.
Yeah,
I got a bunch on eBay for like $75.
Nice.
And this thing runs a massive percentage of your entire Steam library just fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, if you can't run the hottest new AAA game. And I think that the audiences that care are going to age out and they won't be catered to. And the audiences that don't care will find something else, or they'll move along with the rest of the industry towards games as platforms. And so I think that this inflection point of it's all going to change. I don't see a way it doesn't, right? Change is happening one way or another. We can all make bets on what it looks like. But I think that gaming up to now will sort of exist in a certain historical context, and gaming after this point will be different. And it's not dissimilar from an 83 crash, right? Like, markets will shift and adapt, but I do think that from a vernacular standpoint, what kind of games you want to play will feel different.
Keep it light, guys. Keep it light.
No, I think I don't fully agree with that. I do think that a lot of what we have enjoyed, we will continue to be able to enjoy, but at a smaller, reduced volume. And I look at like cinema, for example, where like, if you look at the list of movies that came out in 1993 that we would all be like day one seated for, versus movies that come out in the year 2026 that we just like have to be there day one, it's a vastly different number, right? But cinema still exists in its own way, and it's still worth turning up for. It's just a reduced volume. And so it is a different era, but I don't think it's over, if you know what I mean.
I would actually go the opposite direction. I think we are making more movies by an order of magnitude right now than we ever made before, right? More TV shows, more movies, more streaming, more shows. It is all micro audiences. And so you could turn on a show, you can turn on one of your 37 streamers and pick one of the 25 movies they dropped this week and choose to watch it or not. And I think that sense of we're all going to kind of retreat to our bubbles, where I'm going to be thrilled to play a game that sold 500,000 units, and it's going to be the biggest release of the year, and my entire social media algorithmic bubble is going to reinforce my affection for this platform, and nobody else has heard about it. This happened in music 20 years ago.
But I agree. I hear you, but at the same time, I think that games still has more wherewithal in it. Like, for example, the next thing that FromSoft releases, like, we're all day one, you know what I mean? And CD Projekt Red, and, you know, like these big platform studios, and the next Zelda game, Mario game. I guess what I'm saying is there's only a handful of directors, movie directors, whose names we all still know and we're all going to turn up for at day one, right? Even though there are a lot more films being made, right? That number of real sort of reasons to turn up to the cinema day one, it's smaller than it was before. With music, you're right. It's obviously much more disparate now, and microcosms and whatever else. Like, we don't have the U2s of the current days. And then, please, that was a joke. Relax, everyone, right? But my point is that, like, with video games, though, we still have quite a few things that will pull in large audiences on day one. And I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, right? I don't think Nintendo is closing up shop anytime soon. And so I think that we still have quite a few years ahead of us where we can enjoy this thing. Admittedly, though, not in the way we did at the 360 era, where we're like, yeah, man, brute force is coming out, man. I'm day one on brute force. Let's fucking go. You know what I mean? Like,
that era.
So
it's just going to change. And I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still optimistic about having games, but yeah, with what Chris said about consoles, that's where I definitely feel I'm like, even with in terms of video making, like I've been doing this long enough now. We're in the cycle of like, okay, now we would start making videos on Game Ranks where it's like, here's what we want to see from the PS6. If we did that now, the audience would be like, what the fuck, man?
Fuck
Who
you,
cares?
man.
I think GameSpot, we had a whole show that we would run for weeks, if not months ahead of PS5 and Xbox Series. And it would just dissect every little piece of news about a console because people were still excited and people did show up for it. But now people are struggling to put food on the table. They don't give a shit what the PS6 looks
Just want
like.
games too.
I think one of the things
games.
that feels unique to me, and your point, Ralph, is people have games to play. one of the top 10 most played games and best-selling games, or I shouldn't say the selling, but certainly most lucrative games for the last decade, last 13 years, has been Grand Theft Auto 5. A big
you said
AAA
earlier
game.
it was a retro game, and I'm still mad at you for that.
We're just getting started, Lucy.
I know.
So when you talk about retro games like GTA 5, what you're talking about is a game that people are going to go back to over and over and over again. It takes up time, right? People are playing GTA 5. They're not playing hit open world game Samson, right? Like they're not trying.
Jake Baldino is. Jake Baldino is day one on Samson. Don't worry.
No, it deserves the.
So I think that the sense that people are going to go back and keep playing these games, right? The new big release last week was Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah,
and like
$1 million in a day.
Before that was Star Fox. Before that, the week before that, by the way.
Yeah, and so I think
you're going to say Starfield. I was like, Jesus.
No, they're not remaking that one. All right,
they're
just going to move on.
They just fired the remake team on that, so that's too bad.
Oh,
it's a little gallows humor. I'm sorry. We're having a good time here. But I think the sense that like remakes are increasingly popular because the vernacular of the games hasn't shifted. You could just go replay that same game that you liked and they could reship it. They don't need to make new games every time. You maybe even have a copy of the old Black Flag that you could just play instead of buying the new one. You could still play GTA 5 if you don't want 6. Mm-hmm. That wasn't true for most of gaming's history, where you could go back and pluck out a game from 13 years earlier and have it just hold up and just be the thing that you care about. The average age, Lucy's heard me spiel on this before, the average age of a PC game by monthly average users, time and market, is 9.7 years. Most games people are playing on PC are 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's where all the time is going.
Yeah.
And that's now. That was before the hardware cost $1,500 for a cheap console like PC. What happens when you can't even afford the consoles anymore? Mm-hmm. And so I think that the inevitability that new games just become less, they're too risky. You can't put that kind of investment in a game and have it fail.
But do you think in that regard then, if things become too risky and people back out, there are fewer of these games, they themselves become more of the event and they would have more of the spotlight on them?
Yes.
That they would have had.
Microsoft is going, right? They're going to make big event platforms where they have these huge things. They only have a couple of them. They have to be hits.
Yeah. And
that's a world for somebody. I have 2 kids. My older son, he's a hashtag gamer. Nice. He 100%ed Silksong. He ripping through
better
stuff.
than me.
He's got reps.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
cool.
11. It's embarrassing. I don't like to talk about it. Showing his old man what's up. Every once in a while he gets stuck and he has to hand me a controller. I'm like, still got it. I got it. But my younger son, just 4 years younger, Roblox, Minecraft sometimes, right? Like mobile trash. He calls it mobile junk. He just wants to play some mobile trash. Yeah. Just get a little dopamine for a little bit. And he totally different. Like what he expects from that ecosystem is just wildly different. And I do wonder, again, if gaming is cultural and the audience is going to define the products that they like and the companies are going to meet them or not. When this younger audience grows up and they don't have any hardware and their idea of a gaming console is their parents, 3 generations out Samsung tablet, like that's it. So what kind of games do you make for that? What kind of experiences do you make for that? When
they're not reminiscing, they're not scrounging for like a remake, they don't want a remake of the Saboteur or something. Like
yes. Wow, deep cut.
Thank you.
I think that the LA Noire fans in the house are not going to be like, getting really excited about a remake. There's a preservation angle here that I think is fascinating about all the Roblox games that my son cares about and thinks about. What happens to those? Like, does he ever play those again?
Vapor, yeah.
And but I say this not to be negative. Again, I think all of this is really sad in the same way I think it's sad about media and journalism and institutions there. I think it's sad about gaming, but it's somewhat inevitable. It's already happening. And I'm excited to see what comes out of this, even though I recognize for a lot of people, just like in media, it will be an extinction level event. And that the people who made the decisions that sort of set us on a track to get here are culpable for that. but there's also a part of me that wonders, like, what do we do now? I don't think I'm going to stop being interested in video games, but I don't quite know what I'm going to be interested in.
Well, I'd love to, if you could elaborate on kind of what we were talking about before we started recording, when you compared it kind of to music.
I think that music, games have actually had a similar moment in the last couple of years. Music as data, right? MP3s became available in such a way that access to them became very cheap. People's relationship to the procurement of music changed. And you had access to infinite songs. The iPod made it reasonable to use that data now. You could actually carry it with you. And the whole industry had to adapt to that. Apple sold you songs for $1, then Spotify took it over and gave you a subscription, and everything fell in line behind that, right? The systems created the environment of the ecosystem that the audience fit into, and everything trails. And that's sort of similar to media today and how people consume. I don't know if the platform holders on gaming will have as much power, because I don't know if the platforms themselves will be as attainable, but maybe mobile, iOS and Android. Roblox. But I think for music, that shift resulted in the sort of a ballooning of solutions for people that were looking for certain kinds of music or certain genres or certain artists, but it also devalued it to such a degree that even successful musicians don't make any money off their music anymore. And so what kind of music?
Then they have to go and tour, and then you have successful musicians who book out arenas that they can't fill, and then tours have to be cancelled because look at people like the Pussycat Dolls, Meghan Trainor, enormous amount of streams, which does not equate to purchasing power when it comes to ticket sales. I mean, Lily Allen just cancelled all of her arena shows and is downgraded. I saw that show last year. It was very good.
I think the same is true in movies too, right? Mm-hmm. You have movies where they cannot seem to get butts in seats. There's too much competition for time. There's too much competition for resources. You have a big blockbuster movie like He-Man, which again, wrong movie. That's a movie for me. It's an Unk movie. Mm-hmm. And we're only going to movies so much. And, but meanwhile, Obsessions or Backrooms are popping off for the youths. Mm-hmm. And so I think like figuring out what you want and where it goes from here. Again, that's the part that's sad. It's sad in Hollywood, but it's also interesting and exciting to see Backrooms or Obsession sort of help them figure out. Remember Minecraft was a huge hit and everyone was like, I can't believe it. It was like forecast to bomb. Yeah. It was a huge hit. And it's like, guys, the biggest game in the world is a hit. It turns out like,
makes you think.
How could you have guessed? And so there is like this other moment that's happening. And as a journalist, like it makes me really excited to watch it, knowing that it's grim and knowing that it's ugly in a lot of ways, but it's also this sort of reset moment that I don't know the answer to it, but I can see a lot of the same signals that they're all seeing. It's been in slow motion. Again, like I said, I think the Xbox One and even PS4 era sort of signaled at this eventuality, right? That eventually these things are all bits and access to the games becomes nothing. And how you get them and what you play them on becomes much more interesting. That's where I think like the idea of retro and emulation, the abstraction of hardware layers. So you're getting into now just software and just playing things.
Yeah.
What do you play? Where do you play it? How do you access games? Does it matter if you play them on the right hardware? What's the interface? That stuff is all like super exciting, both the vintage gaming context, right? Every NES game you could download on your phone on a 5G connection in 2 seconds. If you can find the right link, and then you could play it. You could play it on your iPhone now because they allow those emulators. And so like access to those games has shifted, and now we need reasonable legal access and means, which we don't really have yet still. But then going forward, that's for an old game or a vintage game. What about Grand Theft Auto 5? What about my other retro game I bring up a lot, sorry, Lucy, is BioShock 1.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
Came out in 2007. That game is almost 20 years old.
Oh my God.
If you go 20 years before BioShock 1 came out, again, you could re-release that game today, maybe a little coat of paint, a little quality of life improvement, you got a new game. 20 years before.
It, right?
Right. So 20 years before BioShock 1 came out, you've got 2007, so you've got 1997, 1987. You've got what? Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels? Like, right? You're talking about massive vernacular shift, multiple shifts and changes and innovations in gameplay that we really haven't experienced since then. Even BioShock was a spiritual sequel to System Shock.
Yeah.
And so I think what's happened.
We're getting Judas.
Yeah, I think what's happened. We're definitely getting that. It's definitely coming out soon. Like any day now.
Any day now.
So I think that this idea that like the vernacular hasn't changed that much and you can actually just go back and play BioShock and probably enjoy it just fine. And why are you remaking BioShock and why are you doing all this other stuff? Has shifted what I think is the addressable market of what these games are. It's not unreasonable for you to sit down and watch Jaws on TV because the movie holds up, right? We all understand how that works with film and television and music. But in gaming, that has not been true historically. And I think that is going to change. And so remaking games all the time or building infinite franchises where you need new installments all the time when most people haven't played the last 10 of them.
Yes, the Marvel approach.
Sort of creates this environment where your competition is your back catalog. If you're Ubisoft, your competition is your back catalog. You can't keep putting out Assassin's Creeds every year because they haven't played the last one. So I think that shift creates new opportunity for this idea of retro. What do we define as retro? What do we define as access? Who's interested in this stuff? Is it just for unks? Maybe. Reporting for duty here.
Yeah. I mean, among company, I feel like
the unks have the expendable income though. Like they are the audience with the adult money.
Yeah.
But, they also have adult time limitations, you know?
Very true. Yeah.
I mean, that's like the biggest stress point for me isn't that I don't want to play these games. It's that I'm still working on James Bond. I'll finish it probably, but like it's going to take me a bit to get there. And I don't have infinite time and I still have a huge back catalog of games to play. And a lot of those games are great. When we get into the games we're playing section, the game I'm playing now could have been made 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing technologically saying it couldn't. And so again, from a vernacular standpoint, what are you playing? Who makes it? Who are they talking to with that game? Why does it work that way? That stuff is all exciting for me. And I think that era of like AAA brinksmanship, a bigger, better, stronger, more powerful engine, more powerful. I think a lot about Star Citizen.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Right? $1 billion game. Like, where is this thing? What is it? How could it possibly?
Coming. Just believe. Sure. You just need to believe.
I'm a Squadron 42 guy myself. How is it gonna meet?
It's so crazy when people out themselves about this game, by the way. I was having lunch with someone and I was speaking to them and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a Star Citizen fan. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, wait a second. And then I asked them like, how much? Because this was the tell. I was like, all right, how much have you spent on Star Citizen? And they're like, $5,000. And I was just
what?
No, this is a real thing that happened, by the way. I'm not going to say who this person was, but it's someone that I know who works in this industry, right? And I was just like absolutely mouth agape because anytime anyone says a kind word about Star Citizen, I'm like, how much have you spent? Tell me the truth. Tell me right now. And it's always like, oh, not much, man. Just like, like $3,000 or $4,000. That's all I swear. Nothing more than that. God, which means they probably spent $15,000, by the way. Like they're probably lowballing it, you know?
I mean, that's also like the Love and Deep Space people.
Wow, I can understand that though. I mean, I can understand
those boys are hot.
You got to get
those boys are hot
somehow. Oh, look, I hear what you're saying, Chris. I agree with so much of it. I really do. But like, I think in terms of the framing, because for me, it sounds like you're sort of framing it as like a little bit of creative destruction rolling through. Like there's things that are happening now, and it's going to result in some things breaking down and some new things spinning up. But it's like there's this inevitability to it. But and I agree with all that. At the same time, Power World has now sold 50 million copies, right? And Metro Chameleon has now sold like 15 million copies in like 3 days or whatever. You know what I mean? And
that's the hit song from the one person on Spotify. You know what I mean? Like those. That's your
BTS.
Yes and no, because again, like the best game of last year was made by a bunch of first timers out of what. And so like what I'm saying is there are these stories that roll through of games. Like there's enough of these stories that roll through that make me.
But a lot of what you're talking about is disruptive, right? Like you're talking Clair Obscur is disruptive. And Metro Chameleon is disruptive.
I hope that it is, but I don't think that it is, to be honest, at least not yet. Because I think the AAA industry looks at it as something impossible, whereas really I think it should be a little bit more disruptive.
I think even on a data point of 1, it's disruptive, right? It took away a Game of the Year trophy from a bunch of other companies that thought they could have earned it or won it, right? It took away dollars and time spent from other games that thought that they had earned it or won it. And they did it with a different model and a different approach. I think Metro Chameleon, right? 2 people I think a lot about Friend Slop and the origin point of Friend Slop. Lethal Warning
Lethal
being
Company.
the first.
The company.
Lethal Company. Content Warning's the other one.
Phasmophobia, got all of them.
The developer of Lethal Company, one dude with some other support folks, cut his teeth making Roblox games.
Yeah.
Right in that vernacular, that sense of you're playing this with friends, you're doing it to goof, and like, how do you do it, and how do you evolve it, and how do you then extract it from a place like Roblox where the economics aren't in your favor and put it into a place where you have more control?
But that's an old story. That's just like custom mods. Like that's how we get Dota, and that's
Dota,
how we get League. You know what I mean? Like that's the same story that's been playing out forever.
But this one's a different demographic, right? You're shifting the demographic.
I think it's the same demographic, but now 20. It's the same demographic
20 years later.
20 years
Yes,
later.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, some of what I'm saying before is like some of this is culture, and it's about a younger audience and what their expectations are, and catering to that audience is going to be paramount over catering to me, frankly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure. For sure.
But all of that creative energy, I think, is exciting. It just comes with a equal and opposite amount of chaos and destruction, right? Like it all is met on the other side with pain.
I agree with you, and I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, and I think the only point I'll make in this discussion is that like I think the companies that are leading this industry at this moment have to make a choice about what they want to contribute to that creative destruction that's taking place right now. And Xbox has made its choice recently with like, let's get rid of all the small studios, right? And let's just cut back a whole bunch of other studios and whatever else. And I think that's a statement. And I think it's a bad statement. And I think it positions them very badly. And maybe it positions them well for shareholder growth. We'll find out. I don't know. I don't suspect that it will, but like that's the statement they've made, you know? Simultaneously, I look at Nintendo and, you know, their most recent release, by the way, is Rhythm Heaven Groove. Like a new entry in a little, like it used to be a GBA game. Rhythm game from like 25 years ago or some shit. And that's what they're putting out. You know what I mean?
And it's good.
And it's good. You know what I mean? And everyone loves it. And it's like Nintendo are willing to do this weird shit and they're willing to play in the big space because you know they're working on a Zelda game right now. They're going to spend hundreds of $1 million on, and it's going to, you know, take 7 years to make and whatever else. And they're working on a Mario, they're working on this, but they're also working on weird little shit just to train up their people and make the niche audiences happy and whatever else. And like, that's cool and healthy and good. And it's just like, you can look at that and go, okay, that's a good steward of our industry. That's a company that's worth investing in, being close to and thinking about and passing on to your children. Like I would love to hand my kids like a Switch and be like, all right, kids, this is a Nintendo, let's go. And then, but what am I going to do? Hand my kids an Xbox? Why? What the fuck for? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have any confidence that they're going to put out something in the next like 15 years that I'm really going to be passionate about. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so I just think love Gears of War E-Day. It's great for kids.
So I just think like, you know, all of this stuff that's rolling around, and I agree with all of it. And I think that companies need to make a decision. Is it just purely about bottom line, or can there also be another dimension to it? I think Sony is kind of historically has actually found a fair balance where they have had a bit of weird stuff mixed in. I think they've lost that balance in the last little while. And I think particularly what's happening with physical media shows they're kind of where they're headed, where their mindset is. And I think that that's a shame if Sony doesn't keep to that part of itself and doesn't play in the smaller spaces and doesn't, you know, incubate smaller teams and do that sort of thing. I think it'd be very, very bad for them in the long term to do that. But I certainly look at Nintendo for all their faults and I think, okay, this is a business that they're still holding the right end of the stick while like trying to wade through all of this chaos, you know? So.
Can I just point out one of the things I thought was so strange about Sony is that I am not a big fan of Sony first party games. It's like the sad dad, you know, third person action. It's just not my thing. And Astrobot is absolutely 100% I'll die for Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot is the best.
Astrobot is such a celebration of Sony and Sony history and hardware fetishism in a way that like, do I want a Pocket Station? You fucking know I want a Pocket Station in a bad way. And now that I say it out loud, I'm actually ashamed to say I don't have one. And I'm going to go to eBay and amend that after this podcast. But physical is a big part of that sort of fetishism and that culture of that studio, right? PlayStation being a system that shipped with CDs. It was like a big part of Sony's success. And I feel like the physical realm of PlayStation is such a big part of their story
Yes.
And now my PlayStation 5 sits tucked away in an entertainment cabinet that I never look at or see, and God forbid ever touch, because it'll fall off that little stand, and then you have to adjust it again and get it back on the stand. And so I don't know, there's something really sad to me about Xbox never had that, but Sony abandoning that physicality really struck me as like grim, especially in the contrast of Astrobot putting it on a pedestal.
Praising it. Literally putting it on a pedestal.
Yeah, it's a good perspective.
I don't think we bullied PlayStation enough for that little stand.
Let's keep going, man. I'm upset about this.
The new stand is good on the PS5 Pro. It's just legs.
It's just legs, isn't it? I just lay it flat. It's got like 4 little plastic legs.
Leggies.
A friend of mine just got a 3D printer. I guarantee I go on that gallery and just find a better PS5 stand.
Oh, speaking of nobody caring about hardware specs, just 3% of PlayStation 5 owners have the PS5 Pro.
I'm surprised. I would have thought that'd be larger. I'm surprised about that. Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah, okay. PS5, and I had zero interest in a PS5 Pro. Like what? Utilize the pisser? I don't give a shit.
Pisser's pretty good, man. I recommend checking out some Digital Foundry coverage. They'll, Ledbetter, he'll convince you. Just, let him.
I was at a preview event. They were talking about PSSR, and I was like, just call it.
Yeah, all right.
It is a pisser. Yeah. Well, I like video games. I don't know how to end that.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Another episode.
Keep it light.
Yeah, but with that, we have a lot more to talk about. Where we Splatoon, Blood of Dawnwalker, a Steam machine. But before that, let's kick it to a word from our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by Raycon.
Hey, it's summertime. It's hot over there, right? Americans.
Oh, it's so hot right now. Heat wave, baby.
Are you going outside? Are you at barbecues? Are you enjoying the sun at the beach? Are you walking? Are you exercising? What are you doing?
I went to the goth rave.
Okay, that doesn't help our story here because we're focused on Raycon everyday open earbuds.
The outdoor fair.
No, listen, let's stay focused on Raycon's everyday open earbuds, Jake. I'm sure you're using them outside.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm exercising. I'm doing yard work outside, and it's great because the open earbuds, they kind of sit over your ears, meaning they're not like these noise canceling crazy headphones, which are good in their own rights. But like when you're outside, I want to hear what's going on. I want to hear what's around me. If I'm exercising, I'm doing a jog down the street. It's been great for that. And with, it being so hot outside, I'm sweating like crazy. But thankfully, these are prepared for that.
And that's because they're IPX4 water resistant.
Yes.
And also because they actually don't go into your ear. Do you have them there, Lucy, the demonstration?
I sure do.
You have them there? So you can see here, they sit on top of your ear. I don't know if you can show them, like putting them on, Lucy. Do you want to show them? Let's just be quick. Every normal earbuds, you like jam them in there and you're like, get in there. With this one though, as you'll see, Lucy puts it on and it's going to sit on it's going to sit on top of her ear.
Super lightweight.
Which means that it's super lightweight. They're actually super comfortable to the point where like sometimes I forget I'm even wearing them when I put them on for a while. And I personally am pretty active these days, even though it's wintertime. I'm still getting out there trying to get my steps in. I'm playing a lot of tennis and I always have these with me. I think they're just really nice. The battery life is excellent as well, which is 8 hours of battery, 8 hours of playback and 36 hours with the charging case. Charging case is nice and small, fits in your pocket or your gym bag really easily. Sound quality is great. I listen to podcasts on them and it's perfect. That's my main use case for them when I'm doing exercise and podcasts and audiobooks, I would say. So, and they're really affordable because they're Raycon and they're always at a very reasonable price, significantly cheaper than most other, competitive, competing brands. So really do recommend checking them out. I've been super happy with them for however long I've used them now. I think it's more than a year at this point.
Oh yeah.
They've been a nice addition to my kind of workout routine and sort of like outdoor routine. And I think you'll enjoy them as well. So if you do want to check them out, Lucy, what do people have to do?
Well, the Essential Open Earbuds are a great option for everyday listening. Go to buyraycon.com/friendsopen. You get 20% off. That is buyraycon.com/friendsopen. 20% off. Thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring this episode.
And we're back. Come on, Ralph. I was hoping you would do it.
No, you got this, man. I don't want to interrupt
We're back. We're back, and we got a user question. This question can be sent to our inbox, which is contact@friendspersecond.com. finally nailed it. It only took 4 years. So this user question comes from Jerry Aho, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just wanted to ask first, FPS crew, what they think possible future game trends we could see happen. We have had many trends over the decades. Do you see a new one coming? Or maybe games are so diverse now, one trend dominating is less likely now. Any trend you would also love to see take over? Examples, we had FPS boom of Doom clones, RTS trends after Command and Conquer and StarCraft, then the MMO boom after World of Warcraft and dozens others trying to make MMOs. Big Secret World guy here, just saying. Then could say a MOBA trend with League of Legends and Dota, hero shooter boom with Overwatch, PUBG, Battle Royale, and so on and so on. Yeah. What do you guys think? Gaming trends? Jerry also asks, are game trends even still relevant?
You can see a lot of these in the indie space right now. Obviously, if you take aside the vibe-coded AI ripoffs, there are a lot of things that I'm seeing, at least as I'm going through LFG submissions, which is dredge likes of the new thing. I've
seen those, yes.
I've seen a lot of Vampire Survivors, a lot of Balatro. It's kind of like, and now I was getting pitched something that's just like the mouth washing like.
Wow.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff where I think that's also part and parcel because of how difficult discovery is that it's less likely to take a risk on something and it's easier to take something that they know works and retool it. So there's a lot of that. I fully anticipate the Expedition 33 trend or, something like that where it's taking, they've really streamlined a lot of JRPG turn-based mechanics into something, and I think, I don't know, maybe a lot more French games. I don't know.
Yeah, Expedition 34.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can easily see people trying to like recreate that magic with some kind of clone. Yeah, dredge likes are the one for me at the moment.
I think a lot about and I think what we were talking about before. I think 1,000 Gardens Bloom. Like I think there's going to be something for everyone. If you like mascot horror games, have I got good news for you? There's going to be mascot horror games forever. They're going to make a Poppy Playtime movie. It's going to make $1 billion, right? And these are games that people oftentimes don't even really play the game that much, even though the game is sold a lot more than people realize. But they watch YouTube videos, right? They consume the sort of ecosystem around it. I just finished playing Dark Pals. If folks in the house are into Dark Pals. What's that? I'm glad you asked, Lucy. Oh, so I'm going to go into a 2.5 hour monologue about the history. Get ready. Are you guys familiar with Horror Skunks?
No.
Popular YouTube channel.
No, I'm not.
Popular YouTube channel. They make songs about mascot horror shit. It's crazy.
Okay. If
They're
it's
super
not
popular.
Matt Pat telling me FNAF lore, I don't give a shit.
It's the new shit, Lucy. You gotta catch up.
Similar to games I've played. Hang on, is this accurate? Similar to games I've played? Silent Hill F and 007 First Light.
No.
Very similar. Absolutely.
Thanks, Steam.
Yeah, Silent Hill F for F-, which is the score you got on that test. I think things like mascot horror, which are entire little self-contained ecosystems that are just going to serve an audience, but then also have movies that come out and become big hits, right? These can be scaled plays and you'll never hear about it if you're not in that cohort. So I think trends is one way you could define that perhaps, but I think that a lot of the trends that are going to happen, you'll never know are happening because they won't be for you or targeted towards you.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Well said.
Just hoping the Outer Wilds trend catches on, man.
Outer Wilds. Here's the reason you can't, because it's perfect. And if you even tried to capture lightning in a bottle again, you just get hit by lightning and die.
I actually met this guy. I don't know if I told the story already, but like I met this guy and we were just like chatting or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, I play some games. And like, he's like casual. He's like, oh, I play like a little bit of this, a little Factorio or whatever. And you know, a little bit of stuff. Like he's not a serious gamer. I'm like, all right. And then like the topic of Outer Wilds comes up. He's like, oh, Outer Wilds, you mean like the best game ever created? I'm like, this fucking guy knows ball. He says he doesn't know, he doesn't play many games, but he just busts out and says Outer Wilds, best game ever made. I'm like, please stop downplaying yourself, my man. You're a true gamer. So that was it.
They're hard to predict because just looking at the massive success of Elden Ring and the breakthrough that Elden Ring had with bigger audiences, I thought we would see more, and maybe it's still going to take some time. I thought we would see more Elden Ring influence. And I mean Elden Ring specifically more than just Souls overall. And I maybe it's just people can't replicate that.
I think the moat is huge. Like the moat is massive. And I remember, because funnily enough, I'm actually replaying Tears of the Kingdom right now just because I felt like it, right? And dude, in my review, the point that I made above all else was like the moat around this game is massive. Like, because it's one thing to create a big field with some grass and some piano in the background. It's another thing to create this physics sandbox where things do this in this way.
Yeah, that's mechanic.
Unbelievable. Like that is ridiculous. And to get that level of polish where there's not even any fucking clipping when stuff starts moving, like that's unbelievable, right? So we talk a lot about like tech moats, you know, like these big companies, like these AI companies, what's their moat and whatever else. And, you know, investors always talk about moats. But I think in video games, moats is also a thing, right? Do you have the actual ability to create this other thing? Do you have the ability to copy it? And so something like Elden Ring, the moat is actually surprisingly massive because you need the runway to be able to create something that big, but also the expertise to be able to make all of it as exceptional as it is. Like that's a huge moat. And so I'm sure people would love to create Elden Ring, the equivalent or whatever else, but they just which studio you name me 2 studios right now who you think could do that? Like
id Software. Sorry.
I mean, like CD Projekt Red, if they really set their mind to it and they had like 6 or 7 years of runway, they could do something like that. And obviously, it would be a very different game. What I'm saying is, in terms of a studio with scale and expertise and whatever, you know, like there's so few of those studios that could look to recreate something like that. So.
Yeah. But overall, just to finish the question too, like, are trends relevant? Do they matter? I personally like them a lot of the time. I know people get tired of them, but I like when there's a good idea and then other people are like, I'm obsessed with that idea. I want to try and make this idea cater to my other ideas over here. I want to build on that. I want to add to that. So I think they're generally good, you know, until there's too many of them. Then get off my lawn. Go away.
Extraction shooters, man. That was the last one.
Yeah.
Friend slot. All day.
Yeah. Mecha Chameleon's great.
Yeah, but it's a hot. I think there's something inherently quite, how do I say it, wholesome about Friend Slop. Obviously, it's based on friends,
100%.
but also they're just all cheap, right? They're all like little cheap games that are made by individuals. That there's something cool and wholesome and kind of like garage bandy about them. That's just great.
I think Friend Slop is punk AF.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's right.
I'm into it.
Look at you,
Even
Superman
just like
over
seeing
here.
like a mainstream, like a casual video game player, embracing some fucked up weird game is cool, because that's something that always felt like that was like only stuff we were doing. Like even like, you know, playing Minecraft in the early days of Minecraft, and I'm playing this weird cube game that I got from this like Swedish guy. I don't know, like I paid $5, you know, and I got a alpha of an alpha, you know. So it's cool that, you know, it's become more of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to some of the stuff we've been playing and experiencing. You guys did a preview for the Blood of Dawnwalker. I want to know. What's going on with this one. Is it good, or is it looking good?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a relief.
I think I was actually quite surprised to see how much sort of antipathy or ambivalence or just sort of skepticism there was around the title going into it. Because if you look at the pedigree of the people involved, we're talking quite a few of the central figures behind The Witcher 3. And they went out and they founded their own studio. Clearly, these people know how to make a good video game, right? And they've got a modestly sized studio that was, you know, it's around about 100 people, depending on how you slice it. It's a bit more now that they're about to ship. And they're essentially making like The Witcher again, but with like a lot of differences. It's not, it may look like The Witcher if you just kind of have a quick glance at it and you're like, oh, look, that's similar. But when you really get into it, they're very, very different games.
Some on paper ambition, like weird ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I
like,
mean, the time mechanic in particular is the real standout if you want to talk about things that make it explicitly very different from The Witcher. because I mean, Ralph, you and I played, I think, the same thing, which is like the first few hours. Yeah. And then you kind of go out into the world. So yeah, you are Cohen. You are essentially a day walker. You're a human by day, vampire by night. But the thing about the quest stuff is that you have 30 days to save your family, and every time you undertake a quest, it takes a certain amount of time. So you cannot do everything in a single playthrough. The clock is always ticking. You can succeed, you can fail. Obviously, there are things in there to make you want to play.
This is just like Samson.
Is the same, is it? It has the same mechanic?
It's very similar.
No way.
We're talking about Samson alikes. You know?
Yeah,
Right,
it's
the
the new
gaming
trend.
trend.
Samson likes.
Samson
Oh my
likes.
god.
Right.
But no, the thing about it is that it's just like, I don't know about you, but I felt genuinely torn because everything sounded so interesting.
Yeah.
And instead of and there was a lot of wandering around the world, and people would call out to you, and it wouldn't be, like a quest marker I'm not following to go there. It genuinely left you to do your own devices and explore and stuff. And so there is that push and pull where you know that you have something crucial to do, but you are being distracted by things that are interesting, that do pay off. But they take away your time and potentially will risk your family. And it's something that like Mass Effect 3, I don't think succeeded with a lot, because the Reapers are coming, but sure, I'll go and get drunk with you on the Citadel, Garrus, and I'll do it again.
That's very important.
Yeah.
It was important. He was my guy. He's right there.
Oh yeah, you have a body pillow, right?
Shh, Jake, come on now.
No comment.
I actually
We're rolling, Jake. Okay? We're rolling.
I actually do have the Garrus Bible.
I took
It
a
was a
swing and I was like, I think
I bought it as a joke. Anyway, and I think the fact is as well, like during the day, human Cohen plays so differently to vampire Cohen. Like in the daytime, you can have magic. In the nighttime, you're a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
Sick. Although you don't have to be invited to go into houses. Because when I spoke to them last year, I asked that, and they said they genuinely did think about it, but gameplay wise, it would be.
I'm glad they considered
restrictive.
it though. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's like. Yeah, I was really, really impressed with it. I was worried at the beginning that I wouldn't have. I kind of always worry about, those games where you are drawn through a familial connection. And I was kind of a little concerned that it wasn't going to do enough to make me care about these characters that would pull me through the whole story. And it did. It's
very sharply written. And I mean, I think that's the sense that, and again, if you like the tone of The Witcher, because I have, funnily enough, also been replaying The Witcher right now. I don't know, man. I've been sick. So
I've got all the time in the world.
I've been doing some comfort gaming, because also the release schedule has been a bit light. So I was like, you know what, whatever. So anyway.
Any other big open world games you're playing right now? Or is that
That's right. Yeah. Elden Ring. I actually did boot up Elden Ring though, because I was testing it on my Steam machine. And I was like, and I swear to God, I thought to myself, God fucking damn, it would be so cool to do another playthrough right now. Maybe you can do that, Ralph. Come on, man. Let's just one more, But it's very sharply written. You feel that immediately. If you like the tone of The Witcher, it's almost, I would say, 1-to-1 in terms of its turns of phrase and the sort of the way that it builds characters, the way that it builds stakes and and frames moral questions, the bleakness of the world. There's nothing dreamy or optimistic about this place. Like, it's pretty fucking shit where they're living, and you kind of need to wade through that. And it just feels great because I love that vibe. And that was what more than anything else was carrying me through. And that's not to say that I wasn't enjoying the other things, because honestly, I was enjoying pretty much the whole package. Like, the combat is pretty simple.
How is the combat?
Yeah. Look, it looks
rough.
It's actually not. It's really not. It's
okay.
I said in my preview, I'm like, it actually plays better than it looks.
The directional stuff.
It's very simple. It's sort of directional combat, but it has a nice sort of pop to it, and like hit detection solid, and it's very sort of fulfilling to actually get it right and do it correctly and whatever else. I liked it. Again, it's the same with The Witcher. You play through The Witcher and you're like, combat, it's fine. I think I would put this in the same sort of bucket. Combat is broadly fine and enjoyable enough where you don't get annoyed when it happens, but you also don't seek it out when you don't have to. This story is clearly, like, this game is going to be focused on its story and the decisions that you'll make along the way and how you allocate your time. And by the way, interesting, another thing that I learned on my time on YouTube is how much people hate time games, like as in games where you have a limited amount of time. just fascinating insight that I've picked up over the years.
Really?
Oh no, for sure. Like if you ever mention a game having time stuff, the comment section lights up, being like, oh, I was interested in this game, but now that I know there's a time mechanic, I'm out. I can't do it, right?
I get it.
Time limits, time mechanics, whatever else, people hate it because they're like, they just want to be able to play at their own pace and do everything. Completionist gamers really hate that shit. So I will say that there is a 30-day time limit to save your family, but the developers have said that you can still continue to play after 30 hours, just different outcomes occur, if you know what I mean, right? So, like you can sort of calibrate your experience here. You can actually kind of beeline straight to the boss at the very start, like, Breath of the Wild or whatever, skip everything else and just go straight to the castle and fight the guy as soon as you get out of the prologue. Alternatively, you can spend the 30 days and 30 nights. You can spend the entire time as a human, by the way, and just and sleep during the night, so to speak, so that you just only do a playthrough as a human. You can do the same thing as a vampire. You can do a hybrid of both. There's a lot there in terms of the complexity of, and don't forget, like those gameplay models aren't just like different combat models. They're also exploration models, right? So if you have to infiltrate a compound, Cohen during the day does that very differently than he does as a vampire at night. And that's sort of like an immersive sim element that mixes in here as well, in terms of what time of day do I want to approach this objective and how am I going to do it? There's this other really cool mechanic, by the way. When you're talking to someone and you're like thirsting because you haven't had enough blood lately, some of the dialogue options will just change like momentarily, like for a split second, to be like, eat this guy, right? So sometimes you can accidentally press a button when the thing just changes at the wrong moment. All of a sudden, Cohen's like, dinner time. Like that can happen. And that's cool.
I did that to like Cohen's friend.
Exactly, right?
And I was like, shit.
Yes.
Like, because it's again, this micromanagement stuff that you have to keep on top of, especially when you're playing as a vampire, because not only do you get like this bloodlust, but it is your health in a way. So you can really fuck people over in combat just by like essentially shadow stepping behind them, just go have a little bite. But then you can be attacked while you are trying to chomp down on someone in the middle of a fight. I think it's like in terms of all of the mechanics, the way that it plays around with vampire lore, the writing, it is coalescing into something that I think is going to be really big and really, really good. And I will absolutely scratch that Witcher itch.
Yes.
Until, the DLC comes out for 3.
Yeah, no, that's it. I think that's exactly it. I'm feeling very comfortable about this. I'll put it that way. Right? I'm not like, I don't know, we'll see. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be good. Maybe it will be great. Maybe it will be incredible, but I'm pretty damn certain it's going to be at least good. And I personally am looking forward to it. They have said that it's an average playthrough is around about 50 hours for doing like most of the things, like a good portion of it. I think they said that a full completion is probably like 70 hours plus. And obviously you can do that beeline thing where you just like, finish the game in 5 hours if you want to, whatever. So yeah, man.
It's a good job nothing else is coming out in September.
Is it just me? I get the title all turned around in my head.
Oh, dude.
You think of Blood of the Dawnwalker?
Yeah.
Or
actually,
Blood of the Bloodwalker.
No. Dawn of the Bloodwalker. What the?
No, don't put that in my head now.
I actually mislabeled my video because my brain was so certain that it was the blood of the Dawnwalker, right? Yeah. And then everyone's like, bro, it's the Blood of Dawnwalker. And I'm like, wait, they're the same. What are you talking about? That's just the V, isn't it? And I'm like, and then eventually my brain was like, oh no, Ralph, they're different. Like, please change the title of the fucking video,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, feeling very comfortable. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be at least good, as I said. And I have a stinking suspicion it's going to be great. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
I'm really excited.
How about you guys? What are you guys playing?
I don't want to go first. All right, I'll go first. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, especially talking about rehashing stuff and playing it safe. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
Hell yeah.
I was like, why were you holding back on that? I was like, are you afraid about saying you're gonna get cancelled for something? No, you're just
no. It's so I really enjoy it. And we've talked about I think we've talked about Black Flag extensively on this podcast. Definitely.
I certainly have.
Yeah, we definitely
played.
Yeah.
Originally.
And it's so funny, Ralph, when we were talking about it, when you replayed it, we were both like really harking on like the colors, the color palette and all that. Yeah. But it's so funny that now, compared to then, the colors now are insane.
I know,
And I'm not the graphics, I'm not like the graphics guy. I'm very like graphics, who cares? But I think here the visuals really do heighten the experience. It's a game that I love exploration in and just vibes and chilling. And I think that now the added detail and kind of like wow of everything like really helps add to it. Like when you find a weird cave on an island, it looks good and it's cool and it's dark. You stumble upon some ancient ruins. It looks like a fucking Tomb Raider game. It's got this like sense of scale to it. The cities now feel like real Assassin's Creed cities. They have detail. They have bustling, like
so many people around.
Yeah. There's interactive elements. You can kick a dude and he'll fall through a fence. You can parkour on a ledge and then like the potted plants will fall over. That stuff goes a long way to me in this. It usually doesn't for me in games, but here I was just like, damn, this is sick. Combat to me feels kind of like almost like a lateral move. Like it's got some cool stuff. It's not necessarily like leagues better than the original. The original's had its faults too, and I think the new one has some faults.
Yeah.
Parkour is a little weird, but technically some of the best it's been in years in terms of how it feels. The ship combat is a little crazier, a little more aggressive, a little faster, but it's good. I also really, really like that they introduced a sea shanty wheel. So now it's like
Sally Brown on repeat.
Yeah, dude, it's like Grand Theft Auto. It's like you get in the car and you switch on the radio station. So you pick your sea shanties. All the new ones I really enjoy. Yeah. And I've just had a really good time playing it. Had some weird glitches and stuff like that.
Are you sure that wasn't the Animus?
Oh boy,
Which
don't even get me started on the. I think the stuff that they swapped it with is worse. So for
what
people,
did they swap it with? Because Stephen Hotello, an apology, I have not read today's game file, but I know you did a big thing about it.
He's like the Assassin's Creed head too, so I got to read that. That's great. So essentially they scrapped the game dev modern day stuff, like the framing, and now there's just kind of stuffed in a corner that you can find that's completely optional for the most part. And on paper, they're admirable from a writing standpoint because it kind of plays around. It's dark Animus. It's like corrupted Animus, but it's all like the new stuff. It's like it's very much like the Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla sci-fi stuff, but it's you're in this dark Animus and it's corrupted, but it's showing you. This is the part that I think is actually kind of admirable. It's showing you kind of what if scenarios where it's like, oh, what if Edward did go pirate for 2 years, like he told his wife, and came back with a bunch of money? What would that be like? What would Blackbeard be like if he did this? Like, that's cool. But then like what you're playing is just kind of like this weird asset flip kind of repurposing of parkouring, and you're like a wireframed Animus guy. It doesn't do a lot for me. It's not good. So I think it's worse. So it's like I say that this is like a definitively the best version of the game, but I also am this weird person who kind of liked the original game development Animus.
Me too.
And stuff.
I think it was worth keeping in and expanding on that story, which was I think a really compelling, interesting story that added texture to the experience. Yeah. I don't agree with the decision to remove it. I don't think it's a game changer, like a deal breaker, but I do think it's a big deal. GameSpot's review, I'm not sure if you watched it, but like they really pinged it on this, and they really sort of drilled down into it because the GameSpot reviewer is a massive fan of Black Flag.
It's
and
Jordan Ramey, the Assassin's Creed aficionado at GameSpot.
Yeah, and so they really drilled down into this, and like I can understand it if you really leveraged into the lore of that series and you care about it very deeply. And agreed, like it was very clunky the way that some parts are in and some parts are out and whatever else. But I think overall, like 95% of this experience is you being Kenway on a pirate ship, right? And I think that is all intact and that still delivers. And I think I just come back to like, imagine if this game had dog shit writing like every other Ubisoft game for the last decade. Does this game survive? And I don't think it does. Like, I think it's a nice little Assassin's Creed game where you roll around on a pirate ship and, you know, you clear objective markers and whatever else. The aura that this game has is its writing, this cast of characters. And, and I think that makes it so much larger than the sum of its parts. And the fact is, all of that has been retained. They've added some parts to it which aren't as good, you know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. But the core of it is this incredible story and these incredible characters that just add so much to it,
It's funny that you say that because I had been crazy obsessed with the original version, 100%ed it, but barely thought about the story.
No way.
So now I'm kind of going through it again, and I'm like, oh wow, this is good. And then also
good.
like the look of it does help, like the famous scene with Blackbeard when he gets serious and he puts on the hat with the singed. It's like, holy shit, this is good. Like the writing, the performance, you're like, damn.
It's extremely good. It's another era. It's so good.
They didn't re-record the audio, did they? So these are all the original voice stems from
Correct.
2013.
Yep. That's
Did
right.
they add? Did they add new stuff?
They added some new lines here and there, but very sparingly. Yes.
Okay.
It did.
Yeah, you notice it a little bit with Edward. And they've also given him like situational dialogue here and there.
Yep.
That's a little weird. And there's things that are that I miss. Like I miss just doing combat with just the hidden blade, like stuff like that.
But he can crouch now.
Yeah, which
honestly,
it helps a little bit, but it's funny because like the stealth was dog shit simple then, and it still is.
Yes.
Except now there's a little bit better like positional, because you can crouch behind things, so you can break line of sight a little better. But you're still hiding in a bush and you're going. And then stabbing a guy over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, look, I think it's an incredible game, I think it was an incredible game, and it still is an incredible game because of the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is the best way to experience that story now because of this visual uplift and because of this improved combat, even though it has its issues. And it's just it's a really worthwhile game to experience. I just, as I said, it's the best pirate game ever made, I think. And it is. Why did you both do this? You both did this.
No, I said it with my chest, man.
Yeah,
like
it's the best pirate game ever made, and it's also just a brilliantly written video game. I think that still has a lot of lessons for how to build characters and tell stories in a big AAA franchise. Like AAA franchises can still deliver great stories, and I just think that. Overall, like in this industry, by and large, has made incredible advancements in terms of graphical technology over the last decade, and has gone back massively in terms of storytelling capability. And that's not industry wide, but certainly within the AAA space, I think we've seen that very consistently. And I think this is a reminder of how it used to be with these AAA studios, and it'd be nice to get back there. So yeah.
Also, weird side note, just to do weird pulls, it does the Mercenaries 2 thing where it visualizes your progress in terms of building wealth. Because under the manor, there's like that treasure pile, and it gets bigger. I just thought that was a cool little addition.
That's fun.
Good stuff.
Yep.
I definitely recommend it for not even Assassin's Creed people, but just pirate people.
Actual pirates.
Actual pirates. They're out there. They're still out there.
There's ones that operate on the African coast or whatever.
Chris, what have you been playing?
Speaking of games with incredible stories and storytelling in video games.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2025.
Doom, The Dark Ages Resurrection is not one of those games. Revelations. What stupid. That's also the name of an Assassin's Creed game.
Yes, that's right.
Everything comes back to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about. I love the Doom games. I love all the Doom games. Doom, the original Doom 1993 is my favorite game of all time. Most important video game ever made. Doom 2016, absolute banger, top to bottom. Eternal, not as good as some people love it a lot. I didn't think it would hit the high mark, but still my favorite game that year. And Doom the Dark Ages was my favorite game last year.
Nice. My man. All right. Yeah.
It absolutely rips.
Yeah.
So excited for the DLC. I'm only like maybe 5 hours in or so. So I'm still sort of getting sea legs. And I'll say this, if you haven't played in a minute, I played a lot of it back in May or whatever last year. Woof. It fucking
so much harder.
My teeth in
much
over
harder.
and over.
Yeah.
And I refuse to drop difficulty. So I'm just like ripping through it and getting my muscle memory back. But it is not fucking around. It is not giving you any reprieve, even on the tutorial.
Why do you think that is? Like, what is that difficulty spike?
It's funny. In this press preview they did ahead of time, they actually said something like, they said something like, if you feel like it's too easy, like don't mess with the difficulty because it's going to catch up later. I'm like, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah. What do you mean later?
My ass in on minute one. So I don't know. My assumption is that they assume that you're going to follow, for future players, because this game will be an evergreen game, like most games released today are, and that they'll get a lot of the audience on some timeline where they'll go from campaign right into DLC. Mm-hmm. And so you'll have that muscle memory. You're not going to be picking it up a year later. The only audience that is going to suffer from that shortcoming is the immediate audience right now, and like all other future audiences won't. So,
to be fair, though, like I think there are some more mechanical reasons for that difficulty spike. For example, like you lose your shield and you lose a lot of your all of your armor upgrades at the start of this experience. Yep. So you start with like less health and no ability to block stuff. And then you get this spear, and this spear is a whole different story in terms of like it's a whole new move set associated with it, with how you like able to parry things and jump and dash and whatever else. So you're actually trying to learn this very new, quite sophisticated new tool, while that's also quite high risk in terms of how it's used, while also having less health and armor than you did at the start. And the baseline difficulty is kind of also increased. So it's really quite it definitely like pushes your shit in pretty fast, you know?
And I feel like even in so much as I had any muscle memory from the main campaign, it's different, right? The parry for the shield, for the spear feels so different. I cannot get the timing right on some of these things. I think I'm still wired somewhere in my lizard brain to treat it like a shield. But it looks beautiful. It runs like absolute fucking butter. It is, speaking of id Tech, like my kingdom for engines that just optimize for running perfectly. It's got a story that makes not a fucking lick of sense still. I have no idea what's going on. I don't care. I like the part with the demons where they try and kill you and you kill them instead. And then sometimes you like cut them in half or something. And that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to get into a gameplay loop, get my ass kicked and do it again and again and again until I get past it. And then I want to do it again. And I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And that game scratches some fucking like absolute Neanderthal part of me that is so, it feels so good. I've said this before. I think it's the best Nintendo game I played last year. Sorry, Bonanza. We'll see if it's the best Nintendo game I played this year, this DLC. It so far has a leg up on Star Fox.
Wait, what do you, hang on.
Here we go. Listen to his thesis about, go on, tell him, go on.
It's a game that is entirely driven by its mechanics and its sort of game feel, its play feel. And it doesn't have a story that fucking matters. I don't care about the Goombas or Bowser or any fucking thing. I like when you are Mario and you jump and leap forward and land and it feels nice and it makes your brain feel good. And then you do it again and again and again and again.
I thought you were going to say you played it on Switch too. Using the mouse.
It'll probably come out. Is it coming to Switch too?
I would imagine it will. Although, and the team that ported it wasn't internal, so Microsoft was fired.
One thing I will say, I will use my platform selfishly for a moment and say, I actually wanted to continue playing this, but my save file got balked because I have a progression bug where I am stuck outside a wall, unable to spawn in when I die, and I'm like outside. So basically, I can't continue. There's no ability to restart the game. Restart a level. So the only way for me now to continue is to restart my entire playthrough. So id Software, if you're listening, I know there's a lot going on right now. Right? I get it. But if you could add this to the Jira board of fixes, just add the ability to restart a level. I would love that because I would love to continue playing your excellent DLC. I've loved what I played so far. I think it's fantastic. And I'm just waiting for that fix to roll through. So yeah. Yep.
But I've been playing a lot of Doom.
Sure.
The other one I've been playing, which is very different, which is that it's very story driven, is Deltarune Chapter 5.
Nice.
Big Deltarune fans in this household and Undertale fans. I don't know how fluent you are, if you guys have talked about this series.
Not at all,
Not
actually.
at all.
No.
None of us, funnily enough, is just a big blind spot for all of us. Yeah.
Bad gamers, yeah.
Yeah, fake gamers right here.
Out of touch.
Well, gamers, let me tell you what it's about. It is a sort of old school pixelated JRPG in the vein of an Earthbound style game. The combat is quite unique. It's very shmup inspired. So you control this little heart. Objects come at you on the screen. You dodge those objects. The patterns are quite varied. The speeds are quite intense. It can get very difficult. You see some of the higher end and sort of secret boss encounters, and it is intense. This is one of the games where I hand it to the 11-year-old, and I'm like, you're going to have to get dad through this. I brought you into the world. You can help me with this fucking secret boss. Nice. It's incredible. The writing is simply some of the best writing I've ever seen in a video game. It is truly like the reason people are so obsessed with this game, and the reason you see the sales that it has, and you see the spike in popularity when they announce it on the Nintendo stream. It is such a cultural touch point for this audience. Again, not every audience. And if you don't play it, you don't even know it exists, or you don't even know that it's as popular. You don't know that 2 of its songs on its soundtrack just charted on the Billboard Top 100.
No, I did not know that.
Like, this is a game that is a cultural moment, and it's been going on since 2018 when the first Deltarune came out. That itself is a spiritual sequel of sorts to Undertale, an anagram of Deltarune, which came out in 2014. This is all part of one body of work from Toby Fox, who writes, designs, does the programming, does a lot of the art, not all of the art, and the music. And so you have this very singular experience coming from somebody making a game and being in dialogue with his audience. Right? The games very much, especially in this episodic or chapter-based format, are very much in dialogue with the audience, and they are surprises when they come out about what each chapter is going to be about. The character depth and development is very interesting in the same way like a soap opera might be. It is so tasty and so funny and so heartwarming, and I just kind of love everything about it. If you haven't listened to any Deltarune or Undertale music, I highly encourage you to hit that up on.
I was going to say, I feel like I have.
I do know that. Yeah.
You've heard Metroidvania or something, right? There's some.
I've heard the big one.
What is it? Miss Kitty Mew Mew. I think that's the name of the new one. That's a big bop. Hatsune Miku's on it. It's
wow.
That's
pretty
crazy.
good.
That's nuts. It's great. It's incredible. Yeah. I would say, Mike, who's Stuart? Who are you talking to? Cut to some soundtrack bit for a minute here. Okay, we're back. So now you have a sense of the vibe.
Now demonetized.
It is like, chiptunes mixed with this sort of intense, really fast beat, like the video game boss fight of it all. Like it all sort of feels escalating. And then there's these leitmotifs throughout. So there's hundreds of tracks across Deltarune, but they're all like cohesive in the sense when you listen to them, you feel and hear it. But each chapter has a new sound. It's a delight. I encourage everyone to play it. It's not that expensive. I think $25 gets you all 7 chapters at this point. 6 and 7 are not out yet. Right. And they're incredible. So Deltarune is a big one in my house. My son beat it in like a day and a half. And he went back. He's been doing the weird route. There's all this other goofy shit where you go back and you restart your save file and you do all these things in a weird way. And then you carry the like almost like poisoned progression from one chapter to the other.
Right. How long does it take? How long is each chapter? How long is each chapter to play?
I'm going to say 5-6 hours.
Okay. So it's like pretty chunky then.
Paying attention.
Gamer.
Yeah. It's pretty chunky. Okay. No, I've long had it on my list of like things to do because it's just a big blind spot. Like I've always like, hey, everyone loves that and talks about it all the time. And it's like all this like cultural cash and it's like, what is this thing? I don't know. One day for sure, I'd love to circle back to it and check it out. And maybe, so do you recommend playing Undertale first before stepping into Deltarune?
It's not necessary. I think if you played Deltarune, if you want to get current and play Deltarune and you really liked it, Undertale is incredible. Okay. You'll also like that. It is a self-contained thing. It's done and published. But I might start with Deltarune just to sort of, again, if time being finite and knowing how much time you've got, get into the new one and see if it takes you.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
I'm in. Definitely. Lucy, you've been playing Denshattack?
I've been playing a game.
Tell me more about this. Yeah, because I downloaded it. I'm ready for it, but just like close the sale.
Tony Hawk, but you're a train. Denshattack rules. It is such a fucking vibe. You boot it up and it is immediately music, color, style. And then when you start playing, I think the thing that's really special about it is that like you are like the story is mega corporations have taken over the world. They've ruined the world. So humans have kind of taken refuge in these big mega cities, these domed cities. But there are still all of these railways throughout the country of Japan. And there are these people, Denshattackers, who ride trains, they race against each other, they do these tricks and everything. And they are obviously, they're the people trying to get it at the mega corporation. And you start very simply. It's like, hey, press A to make the train go. And then, oh, maybe swap lanes because there's an obstacle coming your way. Oh, beep your horn, that'll do something. Then you start jumping. Then you start doing tricks. And all of the tricks are basically on the right thumbstick. So it's sort of a little bit like fighting game inputs, like go to the side, go down, release, and that'll have you do like a really cool flip and you'll get points that rack up. And then what you can do is you can do things like in Tony Hawk, it's like a manual. Is that the one where you're like back? Yeah. So you start doing that. You start chaining combos. You jump in the air and you see a collectible, so you slam right down into the ground and then you continue maintaining that combo.
Oh man. And
so there is collectibles, there is the score attack, maintaining those combos and that score. There are hit like sub objectives in every level. So make sure obviously collect everything, but also there'll be use your horn to scare the pigeons at the temple or break 3 bridges. And so the one that kills me every time, and I've still not managed to do it, is a no crash run.
Oh.
And so the thing I love about it is it starts super simple, is really tricky to master, and it has a really generous restart when you do crash. Like you're immediately straight back in, and the vibes of it are excellent. The music is, I want to see if it is streaming. I want that soundtrack already. Very, like in terms of the art, you kind of pull in bits of Persona, Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, I would say. Soundtrack, a little bit of Fooly Cooly, like this kind of jazzy guitar, funky. It's joyful. It's not afraid of color. It's not afraid to be cool, and it's so self-assured in what it is. I wrote about it today in looking for game because I was like, everyone's just gonna fucking play this. And it was tough to stop playing it because it is just one of that. It's just that like I'm just gonna restart. I'm gonna get a better time than last time. I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna get a better score than last time. I'm gonna restart because if I get all these collectibles, then I can get stickers to decorate my train. And also, I even wrote a note that one of the one of the characters you meet, because all the characters who are these a various collection of types.
One of them meeting buses? Or these are the buses talk? Oh, sorry, the trains.
The trains don't talk. One of them, she just bursts in and goes, "Did somebody order a diva?" And I was like, "Oh my god, great!" It has a sense of humor. It is loud, and it is fundamentally just it controls incredibly, and it is such a Jake game. I think you will love it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't been on it already, Jake. This,
So I downloaded it on my Steam machine when I was testing that.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't get to firing it up. So is it level based and how long are levels?
Couple minutes.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's various levels around Japan. You'll go to like Fukuoka. There'll be Japanese countryside. There'll be some levels where it's not just a path round. It's, hey, you're in this big area and you have 3 paths in front of you and you have to do various things to fuck up this corporation. So go right and spread paint everywhere. Go left and, destroy some buildings or do this. And so there are certain levels that are kind of like that. Some levels you turn into a boat.
Nice.
Okay.
And there's also I kind of don't want to spoil it, but there are certain levels where it just it's a real cool, dreamy, otherworldly type thing. At the end.
It seems it's giving me like a Jet Set Radio kind of vibe.
Yeah.
The best Steam review I saw of it was like, this is the best Sega game that Sega never made.
Yeah.
It is very Jet Set Radio. It is I describe it as like that one level in Okami where you have the this is a very reference just for me, but it's like the log level in Okami. That kind of manic attention that you have to pay attention to everything in your surroundings. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Are there guns?
Not that I've seen.
Damn.
What if the train had a gun?
Yeah.
What if? That's the sequel.
What if?
That is the sequel.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
No. But I mean, Fireshine, who I think is publishing, like they just had, what was that other game they did? Yeah, that was a big success. Far Far West. So they've they are a publisher I am keeping my eye on because they've got some good shit.
Nice. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the other thing I've been playing is just messing around with this Steam machine. I got my hands on one. I bought one like a sucker.
Yeah. For sure.
And it is a good device. It is capable.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah, well, because of the price, and it's like the price of everything.
On.
It turns on. Yeah. The price thing, and like most people balk at the price, and I get it. Like I agree. It's because it's sometimes you're only gonna get 1440p medium and high settings. Sometimes you're only gonna get 1080p depending on the game. It's kind of crazy. It's just like a competent little device. It's just too expensive. I think, and what I've used my platform for is it's SteamOS. SteamOS is, I think, the thing here that I think is the best aspect of it. It's the snappiest it's ever been. It's really good on a big screen. And I just hope that SteamOS becomes more of a thing because I hate Windows. But I think SteamOS also does a good job of like walking the line between console-like ease of use and simplicity, while also it's PC gaming. It's always going to be complicated. There's always going to be settings. There's always going to be things. You have to have that. So it's like SteamOS does a really good job of like walking that line. Otherwise, like I think it's an expensive little box. The hardware is nice. It's quiet. It's cool. When you open it up, it's like all heatsink. It's funny, but I think there's a use case for some people. But I don't think at the price point, I don't think it's like the entry into Valve's Steam ecosystem like some people were hoping it would be. Am I off on that, Ralph?
Sorry, Chris, you want to say something?
So I've been using a small form factor PC as my main gaming PC since 2013.
For sure.
Living room, like I do most of my gaming on PC, and most of my PC gaming is done with a controller in my living room on my television.
That's it.
And so this moment for me was like a long time coming. I was out in Las Vegas at CES the year they showed off the first Steam machines. I saw Gabe do the spiel. I went and saw the models they had there. It didn't work. Like the thing didn't work. And I think that it took them a long time to get back there. And that was software. That was SteamOS and Proton. And now that they're there, they're getting hit by a hardware train that they didn't anticipate.
But I kind of push back on that suggestion that it's just like, okay, so let's imagine that this is $800. Yeah. Right? Do you recommend this then? Do you buy this device at $800?
American or Australian?
American. Australian $800 is like $300 for you. It's
I think that for the right person, if you're about to spend $750 on a PlayStation 5,
sure.
Yeah, and I think if you're someone who's like considering a PS5 Pro or that, then at that price point, I'd say the access of the stuff you get access to with Steam is great.
Yeah. Games are half the price.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the sales and what have you. Yeah, absolutely. I even at $800, I would say that, obviously the PS5 Pro is broadly more performant than this. You know what I mean? And this is about as powerful as a baseline PS5, which sells for $650. US, if I'm not mistaken, right now. Now I know all the trade-offs. Please, you don't need to list them in the comment section. I get it. Okay, right, sure. But I'm saying like your average person, because like what is this play? This play is not to enthusiasts, because enthusiasts already have a PC that services their needs, or they're going to feel comfortable enough to, buy one or build one or whatever else and step into that ecosystem. I think this is meant to appeal to people who, are new to PC gaming and thinking about an entry point and whatever else. And again, your mate walks up to you and he says, hey, should I buy this thing for $800 or should I buy a PS5? And your mate is probably going to buy 5 or 6 games a year. What do you tell him? I mean, I'm going to say, look, man, just get a PS5. Just get a PS5. It's simpler, and it's got the library that you need, and it's going to do the job, and it's cheaper, and it comes with a controller, which this one doesn't. Let's not forget that. That's it. It's done at that point, right? I just think this device, I can't see it. It doesn't make sense now because next gen hardware is in the offing, right? So this device already feels kind of last gen, and you have to expect it's going to have a shelf life for a certain amount of time. Okay, that's obviously exacerbated by the hardware crisis right now, for sure.
Yeah.
But even then, its specs are just not compelling enough to be really interesting. And so I'm like, well, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? And I think about, it really does ultimately come back to that question of, someone sitting across the table from you, your best mate, and he asks, should I get this? What are the conditions where you say, no, you should do this? Because it shouldn't be complicated either. You know what I mean? Like the Steam Deck comes out and we're all instantly go and buy this thing right now. This is fantastic. Done. Lock it in. It's fantastic. Great. Yes. Right? And then, this comes out and we're like, well, a certain category.
I don't think it's about, is it like your guy who comes in and he's like, what do I get? Do I get a PS5 Pro a PS5, or do I get this Steam machine? I think honestly, the Steam machine is still for people who might already have a console and are interested in more. They are interested in beyond. But like, I'm not saying it's an easier sell, but
again, I just don't agree with that. Like first of all, I think at a foundational level, this thing is really small, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's great that it's so small. Such a great small form factor." Blah 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 blah. It's so small. So like, I don't fucking care how small it is. I would care if it's too big, but I actually don't care that it's this small. It doesn't help me at all. Like if you've got me a handheld console, I want something small, and of course that really matters to me. Form factor matters. This thing is sitting on a thing over there on the thing, right? It's half the size of a Series X. I don't ever look at my Series X and think, oh, that thing is so big. I wish it was half the size. I don't care. The size does not serve me. And Valve has had to make numerous sacrifices to get it to be this small in terms of how they've designed this thing. And that has capped the power of it somewhat. And it's also pushed up the price in terms of they need to have all this custom componentry, whatever else. It also greatly limits your ability to upgrade it. Okay? I think they've built this device, like Valve imagines this open garden for software, but they've essentially built a device which is a completely closed garden in terms of its hardware, right? And I think the dream Steam machine for me is one that has like, do you remember that concept PC that was doing the rounds a little while ago where all of the components were plugged in like Lego? You know what I mean? And you could just like plug out the GPU and plug it, like take it out and whatever else, right? Yeah. I feel like if you doubled the size of this thing, okay, and then made its components really interchangeable really easily, that I think is the kind of device where I would, and you price it more aggressively. That's the kind of device that I would look at and go, okay, now I can see where Valve's headed with this. Now I can see why this makes sense, because right now the performance is underpowered, but then over time, people can upgrade it. And for me personally, the ability, like you can build a cheaper device than this. That's bigger, sure, but it's more performant and it's upgradable. Now, if someone comes to me and says, I really want to get into PC gaming, should I buy Steam? So I'm like, no, don't do that. Spend the same amount of money, just go through a little bit more hassle to get you a piece of kit that is going to be with you for the next 10 years or more if you want it to be, because you can upgrade the components. And I think that's where I think Valve should take this. They should not look to build a closed form device that's static and can't be upgraded. I think they should look to build hardware that is easily upgradable over time and look to mirror their kind of like open garden software philosophy within the hardware space as well. And then I would say, okay, now we're cooking. This is a device worth paying attention to.
I would argue that they're doing that already in the same way that the initial Steam machine push 10 years ago, 12 years ago, was all about third parties and OEMs. right? Like Valve had this little one. They released Steam OS at the same time, right? You can go download the image and put it on a machine. It's limited because Linux is limited, right? NVIDIA support is very rudimentary. It doesn't work. And so you really need to use an AMD card, which is very limiting in a lot of other ways. But you have people putting together Steam machines all over Reddit using different cases, small form factor and otherwise.
Yeah.
So if you want to do something that's more upgradable or extensible, do that. Third parties will catch up and offer these pre-built as well.
Yes.
There's people using old AMD-based crypto boards, I think they're called BE250s, which are pretty cheap. They got a lot of cycles on them, but they're tiny and they just need 12-volt power, and they're hooking those things up and making Steam machines that are even smaller than the Steam machine for a lot less money. There's a lot of cool innovation happening on the hardware front, taking this open source operating system and pairing it with, again, pretty limited array of hardware options. But I think where it could go, and I think what Valve's endgame here isn't to be a hardware manufacturer. I don't think that's what they want to do. They want to disrupt the hegemony that Microsoft has on PC gaming and create an environment where there is a lot of options. And so if what you want is that extensibility, I think they hope to deliver that. Now, the part that upsets me is they're doing it all while delivering an OS that is fundamentally organized around a store. And like, that's the part that I kind of wish it wasn't just Steam, and it wasn't just that store, and it wasn't just that purchasing, and it wasn't just purchasing in general, but that's how it works. But I'm like, I think this is another one of those areas, again, when we're talking about gaming being cooked, like, I think building cheap PCs that run a cheap free operating system that have enough power to run whatever you want to run, even if it's not resynced or whatever, or Blood of the Dawnwalker.
That's the name.
I think that's fine. And I think that's like an exciting end result for me. In the same way, if you're a sicko about music, you got the hi-fi at home, you sit down, you put the fancy headphones on, you smoke a cigar, I guess. I don't know what those people do.
You just smoke weed more than cigars.
I was going to say, like, the
no, I'm thinking of like a fancy old dude who is listening.
He's still
to his Bach.
He's got
He's got a cigarette with the cigarette holder.
yes, that's what he has. They got it right, quick.
Yeah.
And then, or you're listening to it on a fucking piece of shit, pair of piece of shit headphones running off of
Crosley.
Yeah, running off of like your fucking ancient Android handheld phone. Like, maybe that's how you listen to music. It doesn't really matter. And like, I think that you're gonna sort of provide the hardware for the experience you want. And I think that as gaming gets more niche and it gets more sort of tailored to these individual audiences, you're just gonna bring your BYO hardware. And so I think the hardware manufacturer, Sony, saying what you need is a PS6 to play games now, I don't think that's going to be true for a lot of people. I think what's going to be true for them is going to be grabbing a video conferencing box from your dad's office because they laid him off and you got a chance to go in there and sneak some stuff out. And you're going to take that home, you're going to put Steam OS on it, and that's going to run all your shit.
Yeah. I hear you, but I think for the last 5 minutes, we haven't actually discussed the Steam machine as a device. Do you know what I mean? And what I'm saying is that, like,
it's not a device, it's a platform.
Yeah, but I don't agree. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, I don't agree. I think it is a device that you can purchase right now for like $1,300 US or some shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, like, that is the question before. And I'm not discounting your points, by the way. I agree with all your points. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, everything is true. And the fact that we have to frame it all this way because we can't really talk about, hey, absolutely, you should go out and buy the Steam machine because the device itself
beating
is
around
just,
the bush.
It's way too expensive.
I think it's not even just too expensive. I just think the value proposition just hasn't been fully delivered on. Like, again, I don't think it needs to be this small. It comes with too many compromises. I don't think that even if it was significantly cheaper, that I would then immediately start recommending it to lots of people in place of a PS5 or whatever, because it's just not there. You know, the Steam, and then again, it doesn't need to be this complicated. The Steam Deck comes out and we're instantly like, yep, 100% lock it in. And when the Steam machine price normalizes, by the way, and it comes back down to what it should after the RAM apocalypse is over, whatever else, I'm going to go back to recommending that device, even though it's old and it's, got some crappier hardware in it. I don't care because it's doing a really good job in a good way. And I'm like, tick, 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 right? Whereas with this in the world of PC gaming, I think it's a completely different landscape. And I agree with you. Steam's progress in terms of its OS and its platform or whatever is all commendable. And I support it 100%, in fact. But this device does not move that agenda forward at all, I don't think.
I think it's enthusiasts. It goes back to what Chris said, where it's like it might end up being a niche of a niche audience. But I think, and again, it's really hard to recommend with the price right now. But if it was like the price they had kind of intended, I look at it for a variety of use cases. This thing, people who want a small form factor PC that are afraid to build one. They're kind of trickier to build. You need to know what you're doing. People on military bases, people who just move around a lot. It's easy to have. But then also the sickos that have a desk with a cool ass RGB gaming PC, but then they want to play some games in the living room. There are compromises, yes, but your TV's further away from you. So, okay, maybe you're okay with 1440. Personally, I'm too much of a snob. I can't stand that. But that's a thing. And I think that it is like we're breaking it down into more niche categories. And I don't know if Valve wants that. I don't really care. I just think that's where it kind of lands right now.
Yep. So, yeah, if you're listening, Steam Machine, pretty safe skip, I think. Generally speaking, it's funny though. Reading the Steam,
I have
zero interest. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. It's like I could change my mind at any point, but like with my setup that I have already, I'm fine. But at that, I balk at that price point for what it is, and I
too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
Too rich for my blood.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like a competent, nice little device. But yeah, at the price point, and you're looking at like what it's outputting, it's tough to recommend. But there is like this like hyper excited subset of people that are in, like, it just scratches their specific need, want, enthusiasm.
I'm not going to yuck their yum.
No way.
I guess.
No.
Yes. But I also look at those same people and I'm like, listen, you could have bought a small form factor PC, or you could have got someone to build it for you. If you don't know how to build it yourself, you probably pay them like $100 or whatever. And then you've got a device that's admittedly bigger, but not by much. And you have all the components for 10 plus years and you can continue to upgrade them. And you can install SteamOS on there and it delivers exactly the same thing. And that's it. And I just think that is a better use of your time and money. And yeah, I think that's where I land on it. Yep.
Fair enough. I think my problem is that I want to love it.
Me too. I want it to be the
cool. I want it to be the coolest little thing in the world. So like even in the Game Ranks video, like it was just first impressions over a weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm easy on it because like it's a charming device and I want it to succeed. It's just a victim to me of this whole price thing, the RAM thing. But that's just me.
You know,
that's it before you buy. We give you.
It's terrible that we both went to that exact place.
Yeah,
God.
We should bring this bad boy. Is there anything else anyone's playing? Anything else? Have we missed anything?
Nothing I've been playing.
Okay.
I saw the first episode of Edge Runners season 2.
Oh,
was that a screen?
Or
Pivot into
is that out?
show and tell.
Show and tell. I went to Anime Expo because I hosted the Warframe panel, which was a very fun time.
Excellent.
And I got an email from CD Projekt Red, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to come? What?" And they were like, "We're doing an Edge Runners panel. Do you want to come? We're going to screen the first episode."
Nice.
Hell yeah! Assuming that it would be in a normal room. No, they fucking filled the crypto arena.
That's nuts.
It was crazy.
Wow.
I put a video of it. I'll send it to Stu to put in here. But it's like I took a video of the amount of people. It was
It's like a stadium, right?
yeah.
Crazy. Good on them.
And hell, I mean, this is gonna come as no surprise. The studio Trigger's done it again. The first episode ruled. I don't want to go into too much. I don't know what people's sensitivities are on spoilers, especially about something that's not coming out until fall, whenever that is.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a release date yet. No, already.
I think it was just well. I mean, back when they did the panel, it just said fall.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's I'm ready to be sad again. I'm ready to be hurt again. I loved the first season. We had Raphael on the show back way back then to talk about it. But yeah, what a cool thing. And it's Thingy is the main guy. I forget what his name is. Oh, it's gonna annoy me. Hang up.
So this season's definitely PG. I can watch it with the fam, right? It's like
Cyberpunk's known for its PG appeal. It's up there. It's almost Disney-esque.
Yeah.
Clancy Brown.
Actually,
in the English dub.
ironically, is though.
Clancy Brown, did you say?
Yeah, he plays Weak Kingsley.
That's great.
No way.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Hell yeah.
And he's his character's
The Kurgan.
cyberpsychosis. So
Okay.
they start
makes
off
sense.
with some of that shit at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
violent as all hell, but it was a really, really cool experience. I am stoked to watch the rest of that season.
Nice.
It will make me get Netflix again. So they better fucking not split it into two halves because I'm not keeping
They'll
that
do
shit.
it. They'll do it, man. They'll just to mess with you. Jake, have you watched X-Men yet?
No, I have not.
No, I've been saving
you?
it actually. I've been saving it.
Yeah, me too.
But I've
Yeah.
heard like really good things. Like, people are happy so far. It's season 2 of X-Men 97, which was everyone's quite worried about because the creative lead or like the showrunner, whatever, was booted off there for allegedly being quite weird. And the stories are pretty weird about this guy. I won't go into them now, but anyway, but apparently the drop off in quality is not there and everyone's happy with it. They're like, yep, it's delivering just as strongly as season 1. So I was like, whew. So I'm going to save it and then binge it.
I started it and I totally forgot when I started it that it was, I guess, the first 3 episodes. So we ripped through the first 3 episodes.
Oh, so you watched season 1. You watched 97. Did you love it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh man.
It's got yeah.
Watched that with the boys and started season 2, got 3 episodes, and then realized, oh shit, it's week to week now. And like just like kind of forgot that not everything is always dropped. And that season 1 wasn't either. And so now we are stuck and waiting
Nice.
every Wednesday. It was tonight, so we'll watch it tomorrow, I guess.
Yep.
I don't have anything other, so I've just been in the gaming. I've been in the Black Flag hole and the tinkering with the Steam machine. I did read. I gotta recommend the new Captain America run, the Chip Zdarsky one, because it got really cool.
Okay.
So this run of Captain America is essentially like, you know, he comes out and it's like, oh, hey, there was a Captain America. It's kind of like a Gulf War Captain America, and they deal with that. But then a lot of this was centered around Captain America going to Latveria after Doom is no longer in power, and he's kind of undercover. Like the government's like, you can't get caught, you can't do anything, or else it'll set off an international incident. So it's kind of like underground Cap dealing with all these different factions fighting for control of Latveria. And that's all cool and that's great, like whatever. But then at spoilers for this, I don't think it's a small run so far, but the latest issue ends with Captain America getting his ass beat and losing a fight and getting put in a coma. And he's in a coma, but his conscience is transported to hell. And then it literally becomes Doom. It's literally, what if Steve Rogers was in like Doom hell and like the game, and he's in hell and he like climbs out of a hole, and like the ghost or spirit of Dr. Doom is in hell, and he's like,
Great.
we both need to go kill Mephisto. I need you. You're my champion now. So Captain America grabs some rags and he looks like Ryu from Street Fighter in hell. And it's so fucking cool. And I can't wait to see where it's going to go.
Is this a trade? Did you get the trade or did you get issues?
Issue by issue.
Oh,
right
wow.
now.
Nice. Okay. What are they on now? Issue what?
I believe they are on like 13 or 14.
So you picked up the whole run?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I've been consistently going to my comic book store.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, nice, man. That's nice. That's cool. Speaking of cape shit, I watched Supergirl. Did you guys talk about that last week?
No.
Has anyone seen Supergirl? Was it just me?
No.
I love the book, and I was like, oh, they're going to adapt that?
Nope.
Got to be a home run, easy. All they got to do is just adapt that, right? And then it's easy, slam dunk.
I'm actually surprised at how panned it's getting. Like, look, I don't think it's good, don't get me wrong, but I also don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And the reviews are so savage and like the box office performance is terrible and whatever. I think that Millie Alcock is her name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She is a proper talent, man. Like she can act and she really hard carries this movie because she's just great to watch and there's just a lot of humanity poured into her. And I don't know, she doesn't come off as remotely, you know how like a super person could probably come off as a bit like wooden or whatever. And I don't know, she doesn't, man. She's really cool and she's just great to watch. You know, what's his name? Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Yeah, how is he as Lobo?
He's actually great and he has a lot of fun and he's just big and kind of fat and he's just sort of like messy as hell, and you could tell he was having fun with this role, you know, and that really comes through, and I liked it. The needle drop scenes are a little much, I think. I don't know that all of those work as well as James Gunn was hoping.
I heard about.
There's a few of them, really. Yeah. So look, I think ultimately, though, it basically just feels like Guardians of the Galaxy again, but with like Supergirl as opposed to thing. Like it's a quirky space adventure with like about misfits coming together to do something because there's a need to, you know? And I don't know. It doesn't really work. Like it's all about saving her dog. You know, and I get it. Like I get that, but I don't think it really kind of sells you on that as well as it might need to, because there's also this other story about like a sex trade happening in the background, and you know, Supergirl seems really concerned about her dog, and the sex trade stuff is kind of just a bit incidental until the back end of the movie. She's like, I guess I should care about that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a bit awkward at times. Look, I had fun watching it. I think when it's available to you to watch at home, for sure, boot it up, check it out. It's kind of second screen viewing, but it doesn't really. You don't have to go out of your way to experience this. I'll put it that way. But I also do think that the reviews on it are probably a little too harsh, especially some of the the general discussion chatter. Like it's not as bad as that. It's just not very good. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was it. Supergirl. But I'll
quickly go. You know what is fucking first screen viewing and should be the only screen viewing?
Here we go.
The Vampire Lestat. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's the
thing,
season
man.
finale this weekend.
Right.
I am losing my goddamn mind.
Is it scary?
No.
It's not
no.
scary. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, no. It is like Sam Reed just is Lestat.
Okay.
He is Lestat, and it is he's magnetic to watch. It's all of it's Lestat's side quest into becoming a rock star, and the way they do it, the fake documentary, they are following him on the bus, they're following him with the failures in his band, and story of Akasha and Louis, and the way they wrap up, like they've made a lot of significant changes to the Vampire Chronicles, and they are doing some really fun, interesting shit. And last episode ends on something that made us all just scream. Like it is like Chris is out of here. He doesn't give a shit. He's had these rants about this before.
Oh.
It is such a well-made TV show, and I am so glad it is the success that it deserves to be. If you know anything about the events of the Vampire Chronicles and what Lestat does, I believe that's going to happen this weekend, and we are all on the edge of our fucking seats because it is. It's such a good TV show. You don't have to have read the books, or even seen the movies.
And again, where are you watching this? It's like
what channel is
MGM
this
Plus or something.
AMC Plus.
Okay.
We subscribe just for it.
Wow.
That's how, if you're talking about killer app, AMC Plus's killer app is.
You know what they should do?
I think they have Mad Men too.
They should have a package that has like all of the streamers together, and then you just pay one price to access all of them.
It's cable TV.
I think you just invented cable.
Nah, don't think so. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that.
No.
I just canceled Hulu. It felt really good, by the way. I was like, why do I have this? Why am I paying for this?
I canceled HBO, but also I canceled pretty much all of them because I also realized that I'm at my friend's house, 6 nights out of the week.
You're mooching.
So I just mooch. Well, I actually, we share subscriptions in other ways. Like I have the Apple family account, and I pay for some things that they get. But you know what? It's a commune life works. Okay, it works.
There you go. Good.
Yep.
I'm going to give you guys my actual real show and tell. I'm going to show you.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Ooh, on screen.
On screen.
We'll have to
I'll
describe it to
Audio
audio.
listeners,
Yeah.
apologies. This isn't for you. He doesn't care about you, clearly.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm still working. It's still coming together. This is, you can see here,
Is that 3D
This is
printed?
3D printed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's an LX console from the hit video game UFO 50.
Okay.
I'm building 10 of these things for an art show.
No way.
I'll line up 10 UFO 50 consoles for people to play. So I've been tinkering and working with a guy at the university that's hosting the art show to 3D print these and design them. So there was a model that a fan made. We've repurposed the whole model. We'll put the files out there for people to print out their own when we're done.
Nice.
But the door down here operates. We're using little XLR inputs for the controller ports.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I got the 3D button to work, so the power button now works.
Yeah.
This will turn on a little LED light here. Reset button. I'm wiring up the high voltage inside. It comes in over here. And then we have a little display here. The screen will be a touch screen, so you'll actually be able to like control the windows of it all.
Okay.
But eventually you'll just boot it into UFO 50 and leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I have all these little mini PCs for. Is to
Are you in touch with the developers about this project?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we've talked to Derek. And it'll be a fun.
I'm sure they love it. I'm sure they
That's
love it.
awesome.
My other project, now that I don't have a job, is to finish my Sega New Astro City arcade cabinet.
Wow.
Which has been sitting here for many months, untouched and unloved.
Can I just say that when Chris joined, we had an all hands, and he basically took over the all hands just to give a small presentation about this.
I did a I did a lightning talk.
You did a lightning talk.
We had other people do. Maybe they'll still keep that tradition going. Who knows? But I'm renovating an old Astro City cabinet, which is,
that's cool.
if you don't know, the most beautiful arcade cabinet ever made.
Beautiful.
That's so cool. That's sick, man. Well, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
That was
Good chat.
a girthy one. Is that the right word?
No.
A meaty one?
I hope
That's
not. I
horrible.
really hope it's not the right word.
Yeah, don't like it.
Yeah.
All right,
About
well-
it.
Well,
It was
We'll try again next time.
moist and girthy. Let's steer clear of those words, please.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, folks, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you. Contact at friendspersecond.com if you want to send us some questions or anything like that. Say hi. We also have
if
the
you're at
newsletter.
Comic-Con, say hi. I am hosting the Control Resident panel.
That's a
on
good idea. That's
cool.
cool. Check out.
Nice.
At, I believe it's 6:30 p.m. Check the times in the Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
But I will be there if you want to say hi.
Actually, one thing we will flag is episode 100, because this is episode 99.
Yeah.
In episode 100, we are not doing an episode 100 until we are ready to do it, because we want to be in person for that. So episode 100 is actually, we're going to skip it. We're going to go to 101, right? That's the next episode. And then when we are together again, we're going to plan something special because 100 episodes is a big deal. And we want to celebrate it properly.
Sure
We're a
is.
remote podcast, sadly. So the opportunities to be together are limited. We're talking about ideas now. But also, if you have ideas for what you would like to see us do, please leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear your suggestions. But it's going to be an in-person thing. We are thinking about whether or not we maybe invite an audience to come along to that. We're talking about it. We're talking about different things. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. But we do want to do it properly because we do want to mark the occasion. We feel like we've done a pretty good job over 100 episodes. You know, we feel like we've done okay.
It's all right.
We made it. Yeah.
We appreciate everyone for tuning in. And we'd love to share that with some of you in person, ideally. But we'll see. We'll see where we land on it.
Ralph and I are going to fist fight with boxing gloves. But like we're going to fight.
That's right. We're going to bring back that boxing meta that was
boxing
going
thing,
on for a while. You know, we could go,
but only for gamer losers
we
like
could
us.
do the hot tub meta, which predated that could work.
Once again, this is just Ralph and Jay.
Different type
These
of
are the ideas
viewership.
they've been thrown around.
right.
I'm just adjudicating in the back.
Exactly
I'll
right.
hold.
There you go.
It'd be great. Yep.
All right. Well, with that, thank you guys for listening. We will see you in the next one. Tie your shoes and go to bed.